United still on Snowfall. And it seems like they will still be safe. But as we saw in there, AG as well as Team Falcons is in the battle. So let's see who's going to win it. A couple of Winchester from On Fire and Pina that might throw off the gameplay of AG. But let's see if they'll be able to fire back.
Yep, AG under pressure. Falcons, both squads outside the circle, but not too far away from the safe zone. It's taking a little bit of damage. Falcons thinking they could bait AG into a little battle outside the zone, but AG was not going to fall for that inside of Forest Red. Circle around, looking for that flank around the right for the next zone as well. No eliminations so far for the side of AG Global. The Southeast Asian teams, at least the ones from Thailand, are trying to play this as quietly as possible until they get a little bit deeper into the zone.
Yeah, I mean, for Burim United, if it wasn't for a hot drop, they might still have 0 elimination at this point. But let's see though, AG, Riptide Rhythm breaks them down, and Team SR is out. Team Solid showing solid gameplay as well as anticipation as to where AG will be landing, and they managed to take a
By Falcon 0 kill. Kira ebar Falcon er gameplay down ge. RH ke 4 kill korche.
Now it's going to be trouble time because AG Global needs to figure out how do they get a revival. Do they play a risky maneuver outside the safe zone and hit one of those vending machines, or do they just stick with a 3-man play? Team Solid obviously not going to allow them to move far away from the defensive spot, but GOW is that distraction. The glue UAV pulled out by Demon. Barricades are strengthened. Steffi popped as well. GOW will not be teased by those grenades. Riptide Rhythm now coming out from the side of Team Solid as well to melt down their glue walls. Demon, that nade, still Steffi will protect them, and GOW is dealing very well with Team Solid. AG Global needs to use this opening to get away.
Love the combination that GOW has pulled up. The Steffi plus that glue wall that would help or make sure that the glue wall will not be going down despite of the red side rhythm. Demon with that valiant dash, but Demon will be taken down by Guaxa from behind. Rip right now, M79. Let's see if he'll be able to take one shot and bring down Solid, but it is high hopes for him. This is the only one remaining against 4 players of TS.
Yeah, RIP, he's got the grenade launcher. He needs to make some magic work here. RIP takes himself out instead. I'm not gonna make fun of him because it's happened to me as well.
That's
what a lot of us, okay? You guys just don't admit it.
That's one reason I'm not using that weapon, because I'm off angle when I make that shot. But Lao Ho right now being taken down, and Fluxo is taking advantage of their position to go and chase against PE Sports. And
Falcon এখনো 0 kill, একজন নাই.
Seems like they are up in the corner right
Fluxo
now.
ভালো pressure করতেছে.
Yeah, well defended though by PE Sports. Just barricading all of those windows with the glue walls. But Nolan, the timing was off, and the charge buster by GU puts him down onto the ground. Fluxo just waiting for the timing here to hop on in there, pulling out a double glue wall to block off the windows once again, but a mistake by PE Sports. But they still do manage to block off the access by Fluxo. GU really low, but the time turner pulled out in the nick of time.
Fluxo.
And GU saves the day. PE Sports was so close to annihilating Fluxo, but not a single player from the Brazilian squad was knocked down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is a great move coming from Fluxo at that point. Now, let's see on Burim United and Team Falcons. They are just waiting at each other. Not only that, Team Falcons is taking some hits from E1 Sports. I think AG is just keeping this down silent just to make sure that they will not be distracting anyone from either E1 or Heavy. But Team Solid, I saw them jump in, and I thought they will be targeting Fluxo at this point. But good angle to take, but they need to move because in 15 seconds, the blue will be moving along them.
The East has got quantity here.
But
there's a little bit of infighting.
Imagine grenade
of Team Solid, and Jonah with the
double
gets the 3-pointer. Kobe limit taken out of the equation.
Grenade
away, but it doesn't matter. Falcons out of the equation. And now we are left with only 6 squads. MT7, a double knock. Team Solid facing a lot of trouble because of the position that Fluxo holds on to. Heavy pressuring them from the right-hand side as well. This has to be the end for Team Solid.
Let's see. I mean, Traps is trapped in the corner, and Moshi managed to hit him from afar. 5 teams remaining, and Fluxo is still on the run. Glue UAV helping them out to survive, but on the other side, Heavy would be a potential target, and both of E1 and Fluxo is knocking them down.
Dude, the flame zone is just up in the ante here. But look at Buriram circling around from the right-hand side. E1 is still in here as well. How in the world? I did not see them earlier.
Oh, no.
I do not know, but it doesn't matter. They
Fluxo,
get squashed as well as Buriram rages
41%.
on. Moshi,
Fluxo.
Superman on the left-hand side. Fluxo still alive and kicking. A little bit closer to the players of Heavy. One gets knocked down. 9 eliminations for the side of Buriram, but just tethering on the very edge of the current zone.
Let's see,
Nah,
don't
Fluxo.
cry, might be at a
chances
loss right now. Fluxo is behind, Brim is in front. Now it's a team versus team before between East versus West. And let's see who's going to win this. Would it be the defending champion or the one chasing for that crown? Wasan is already down. Jonah managed to take himself out. And Fluxo might be the team to grab the first booyah in this game.
It's not just the first booyah, Neptune. A freaking massive
booyah.
Moshi gets taken down by Bobs. 17 eliminations was what I last saw.
Brazil Vietnam team dare bhai.
Champions, technically the back-to-back global champions have done it again, and they have started off day one to get to the top in such a phenomenal fashion.
And one thing I'm seeing from Fluxo at this point is they're not that passive team anymore. They are in their position, running against opponent, leaving those gunshots and just heading towards all those engagements. And that's how they got that 17th elimination. And I am loving this version of Fluxo right now.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly what we needed to see out of Fluxo, the tenacity and the confidence and also the capability. Because yes, we've seen them in the past, and what they have done is mainly stay passive until the very end. And sometimes they would have stayed too silent for too long. They could not catch up. But of course, when it comes to the global finals, the grand finals itself, Fluxo is a different kind of beast. But now we see them bringing out that version of themselves so early in the knockout stage. I'm loving it. This is what we need. This is exactly what all of the other teams need out there as well as a wake-up call.
Yeah, exactly. And then, well,
wake
us up with Fluxo in the lead. I'm really loving this. Game number 1 is just so heated up. It's just so massive. And I was expecting the global final. It would be a slow game because everyone is trying their best to identify where they can rotate safely, but there's no safe space. All they have to do right now is just look for the enemy and trust their instincts.
Yeah, I mean, at that point of time, the final engagement, it was a story called Run, Moshi, Run. But no matter where he ran, no matter what he did, there was just nothing that he could do to save his squad and to get them the booyah. But you know, valiant effort overall for Buriram to survive long enough to that final circle. But very, very impressive first booyah of the day, courtesy of our reigning champs. This is ridiculous, man. I mean, look at the number of eliminations on a stage like this. Fluxo's not messing around.
Oh, definitely. I mean, 17 elimination plus that booyah. It's 29 points already. And what I'm sad about, because we saw Team Falcons being eliminated in there, though they do have placement point. Unfortunately, they don't have any elimination as well. The same goes for Movistar R7. Yes, they grabbed one when they hot dropped Buriram United, but that's it for them in the first game. And hopefully it doesn't affect their motivation as well, because if you're lost after losing out on Buriram United, then that would carry over onto the next game.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I think, you know, it's okay because it's just the first day, technically just the first game. They've got 5 more games to find a little bit of adjustment out there. Fingers crossed, it's a little bit more kinder to them, the environment. You know, fingers crossed they don't get those early engagements again, albeit Red Hawks was very impressive up against Heavy at the start of the game. But 29 points, so 17 eliminations was correct 29 is massive, but Buriram's not too far away. 11 eliminations
Achha,
on the
era
outside for a total of 20
point.
points, including the placements. Heavy
RHK.
still kind of, you know, getting up towards the top here because surviving long enough was the name of the game, and Red Hawks just could not finish the job at the start.
Yeah, I mean, I still love seeing Heavy on the top three of this match, but looking at Team Fluxo at this point, they're not going in with the current meta. This is where
MBB
they are
FX
confident,
MT7.
and
Wow.
we saw that confidence onto the game with A124, Skylar,
Lalo
Oscar, as well as Steffi. But the Skylar, it seems like it's being slowed down because of the glue UAV. We've seen that so many instances wherein that could have been a clear out of those glue walls, but that update just gave more opportunity for the teams to stand up.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what we like to see as well, right? 2 players with a team booster, 2 players with a tactical market. They've got a good balance, and if you look at which are the ones bringing in the tactical market, it's the players who are on the back lines, right? And the ones who are on the front, a little bit of an extra boost on their health as they take these very aggressive engagements. I think they've played this out very, very well overall. But MT7 with the 8 eliminations, this is a huge warning to a lot of the other players out there. If you've got a sniper on your side, and I don't know how you're going to detect Fluxo out there, but you better take their sniper out. MT7 has started off the day, and he is rocking it. 9 knockouts, 7 assists, 8 eliminations. Those are some insane stats off of this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, close to 5K on the damage. And, well, I know I put a little bit of, well, not hate, but question on Skylar, but it seems like it doesn't matter for MT7. As long as he has the sniper, whether an AC-80, AWM in hand, he can still make those shots. And it's not just from long range. He can make this in the mid-range as well. That is one reason why he is one of the deadliest sniper in the field right now with that Maro Susie as well. A little bit of insurance policy with that Susie that we rarely see that nowadays.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think the Skylar is definitely going to be abused out there, even in this current season, because you've got too many of those buffs coming out for those glue walls, right? You've got the glue UAV, especially right now. You know, you've got everything going in the way of defense, so you need some extra glue wall breakers, which is why I did expect to see more narrows. Unfortunately, we just saw him appear kind of once, and even that was more of like, you know, getting information gameplay instead of breaking down the defenses of their opponent. But a little circle analysis here. At the very start of the game, Circle 1 itself had a lot of incidents that were not friendly to a couple of squads.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one reason as well why some of the teams have faltered already despite of the prestige they have. One is Movistar R7. Another is, well, not Red Hawks, because they managed to get the 4 elimination early on, but what follows is their demise. I'm loving the circle analysis as well. This is one thing that I've been asking and hoping for the longest time, and it's been 4 or 5 years already, and there's more details that we can talk about every time that comes up. But as we look at the highlights, it is more of the engagement, and this is what I'm talking about for Buriram United. The priority is to make sure that their teammates are alive, and Get High was supposed to just go for the pickup, but he saw a few of their players from R7, and that's when they take him down.
And that time turner was a life-saving time turner for Fluxo, because just with one shot off of that M590, you could have taken down 2 players because they only had a sliver of health on themselves, right? And that kind of shows exactly how well put together Fluxo is, from the brink of annihilation to shutting down the squad, making it into the final circle, and walking away with the booyah as well. It's not going to be easy to dethrone Brazil and take this one away from them. I think the other teams are obviously well aware of that, but what can they do with the information, of course, is the biggest question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of how they can play with that. We've seen a lot of teams who use a lot of skills and utilities to gather all this information. It's more of how they can approach it, and it doesn't show up as quickly compared to what we've seen what Fluxo did. The turnaround, the pickup is quite easy. It looks so easy. Then one reason as well why they dominated that game #1.
So for the question of East versus West, even though the East has got the numbers, even though we've got the quantity, the West is still proving that they have got the quality, lesser squads in there overall, but still managing to walk away with a massive game, then it's kind of a testament to how strong the fight is going to be from the West to keep the crown on their side. I mean, the East technically has enjoyed the crown being on their side, you know, very specifically in Thailand for a long, long time, for many years. So I think it's good for the trophy to spend its, you know, time in the West. What do you guys think, though? Let us know in the comment section whether you think the crown needs to go back to the East as well.
I have a guess on what the comment section will say, but I'm not going to say it. I'm just waiting and
Game
watching for that. But
Purgatory.
you did mention about East and West, and looking at our leaderboard, like we have 4 from the West.
Barmuda
that is
3
playing
number
for today. So unfortunate for R7 that they
First
were
Albine for Purgatory.
but the 3 teams out of the 4 is on the top half of our leaderboard. And you did mention about quality, and all of them, all of 3 are coming from Brazil. So it's like not just it is Brazil who's dominating at that game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And obviously, Fluxo at the very top, E1 as well as Team Solid, managing to climb up quite a little bit, but and they are in the double-digit, area, but they do need to climb up a little bit more. I am most impressed, though, Neptune, by Heavy. They got into a very sticky situation early on in the game, and I have to say, if it wasn't for the appearance of WAG, they would have gotten crushed there and then itself. I think that the distraction surely kind of helped out in that situation. E1 appeared initially, and then, of course, WAG. But overall, Heavy using that situation, getting the revive, and getting the hell out of there, and then regrouping together as a squad to get to the final circle, shows you exactly how much
last price $2,000
improved over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see if that is something that would show up even more. But looking at what the question right here, will their Clash Squad dominance hold up in Battle Royale? We're talking about the dual mode champion, Red Hawks,
country registration this
and
country থেকে যারা top 2 ছিল
has already put
ওরাই
up
গেছে
their name in there for PR. Now, question is, will Falcons and Red Hawks follow through? Because looking at the list, they're at the bottom half.
Yeah, they're definitely the bottom half, but all 3 of these teams, dual mode champions for a good reason. They know how to play a good game of Free Fire. In their own individual regions, they are most definitely beyond champions. They are legends as of this point of time. But when you reach the global finals, when you reach a stage like this, where we throw everybody into a potluck of squads, the story tends to be a little different. And at the moment, the teams with the most amount of experience on a stage like this has managed to climb up the leaderboard. Once again, why I'm so impressed by Heavy, because they are up there together with them.
Again, it's just a turn event for Heavy with what happened in Southeast Asia fall. I mean, that performance was just outstanding. I mean, if there's a better word for it, that's all I can think of. Even beating those at the top dogs. Yes, they didn't get the champs, but they were in there comparing their previous performance from spring. They just catapulted themselves up in the 2nd place, and I'm loving that version of Heavy. Hopefully that doesn't die down, because you know how it is with Vietnamese team. They move up quickly in the first half and then falter towards the end. And at this level, this is something that is different from what Vietnam has experienced from the recent tournament.
Fall for sure. Because we've got 4 squads out of Vietnam this time around. We want to see something from them. But of course, a quick fun fact about the loadout system: you've got 4 roles to choose from: support for buffs, weapon boost for upgrades, tactic for map control, as well as your leg pocket for extra gear. Every choice can change the fight, and you just saw that in action out there.
Yeah, and I'm loving that teams is also already utilizing it to the T, despite of the update just coming up a couple days ago.
AG Global.
That's one thing as well for those viewers out there who are still not familiar on how
But
low does
AG
this working.
global.
Hopefully these games would give you an idea, because I tried myself in playing, but I'm still getting slowly getting a hand of it. And when I say slow, like very, very slow.
It's okay. It's an age factor, my friend. this game, although it can be enjoyed by anyone of any age,
Huh?
it caters towards the younger ones a
Nah.
little bit more. Uncle Neptune will have to take a little bit extra time. But of course,
Nah.
I totally agree with you. You know, anything new takes a little while to kind of get used to and to master overall, which is why I love watching all of these esports tournaments where these pro players, I mean,
But
this
mobile
is
plan
their
nahi
job,
to.
this is their life, you know, day in, day out, all they do is free fire, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't master it and they don't show us, who else will? And no better time for the update, because we get to see it on the global stage, and we kind of get to take a good comparison between the teams from, you know, separate regions, you know, a comparison between the East and the West, whether or not the meta that they think is effective out there is going to be different, or everybody's kind of working around the same thing. Because we just saw Fluxo is still sticking to what they're comfortable with. We don't see Nero coming out there, and I don't think that's a huge issue at all, because once again, when we saw them win the World Series with that Riptide rhythm, I believe they were the only ones bringing that Skylar into play, because to every other region, to every other team, they were saying, hey, the Skylar is technically out of meta.
Well, let's see though. Let's see if that's something that they can prove once again. Another fun fact, referring to Falcons double champion and C Fall 2025, Keroro said, if winning once was luck, you can't be lucky twice. And I guess they just showed sheer dominance, and it wasn't luck. They won both Battle Royale and Clash Squad.
Red Hawk fans are very happy that Kororo said that, because now they can say that for Red Hawks as well. You know I tease you guys. I love Red Hawks. I've been waiting for them for a long, long time to make their international debut. We got to see a little bit of a sneak peek up against them. And of course, we get to see them in performance today as well. Once again, a great start, but it fizzled out too early. Luck just wasn't on the side of Red Hawks in this particular start, because even if they were able to manage the situation early on in a decent 4v4, too many teams came rotating into their compound. I think as far as Red Hawks is concerned, they need to start looking for some of these safer drops which are not occupied by any of these other squads, because if they're not prepared for the battle, I usually don't see them hanging around long in the lobby at all. And that's going to be a problem if they don't fix it.
Exactly. I mean, and there's one thing I would want to say is for Red Hawks. Yes, they show dominance in that hot drop.
Red Hawks dominant korte parteche, but long time hold korte parteche na.
They need to move. That they need to do quite well, because we've seen a lot of teams, they don't like, especially in where 12 teams are still involved or 11 teams are still involved. Definitely some of the teams will be hearing those gunshots, waiting for the opportunity. If you spend so much time in engaging in one compound, you will need to anticipate that someone else will be waiting for you. So after the engagement, if you win that
Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra,
one person can move away, and that can be your insurance policy, not just for Red Hawks, but for everyone else of these teams who's going for the hot engagement for the early games.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we definitely need to look at a few different factors overall as well. But I do want to highlight one thing, right? We've got a few underdogs who are on the rise here. We've highlighted them extensively already. We're talking about the teams out of Vietnam. We're talking about Red Hawks as well. Okay, we also have to throw Cliff into
Samsung
the
Galaxy S24 Ultra.
Many of the fans out there, and even some of the teams that are on that global stage, they kind of feel like these are the teams that are going to be the filler squads. These are the ones who are going to get crushed and thrown down to the bottom. Now, Red Hawks are not doing us fans a big favor by kind of proving that right in the very first game itself, but it's good that they got punished early, because it's all about the rise up to the top. It's all about how you find those adjustments. But it wasn't just Red Hawks that got crushed early. WAG performed, even worse. They only got 2 points out of that game. And wait, let's take a quick pause on that statement. A quick fun fact here. When it comes to age, still at 16, Blade and Kutush are the third and fourth youngest players at the Free Fire World Series 2025. And right behind, AJ Chinoy as well as Rasya. Rasya is still the youngest player out there on the stage. Well, technically he's not on the stage
next
right now,
match start over.
the youngest one out there on this global finals.
Yeah, I mean, I got hurt a little bit when it comes to age, but fun fact, Neptune is the oldest caster in the lineup right now. But anyways, I mean, you did see, I mean, we are seeing a lot of potential, especially from Rasya.
মজা করতেছে ম্যাচ স্টার্ট না ম্যাপে লয় নাই তখন প্লেনে লয় নাই
like change their face. And I think it's not just the energy, it's not just the mechanical movement.
হাত ঘামে দেখা কি দিছে দেখছস
It's more
দা হাত না ঘামে
how hungry
মেডিসিন দিছে
he
গো
was in winning those games. Imagine even before
এমনি যে এসি চলে 16 এর উপরে 16 তে এসি চলে এই জায়গায়
watching in the background, eager to put himself on that stage. And the moment that he is there, I think he manifested everything that he has achieved so far, even before he stepped on EWC.
Yeah, I mean, there's two types of people when it comes to
Master
manifestations. One just wishes,
non-stop.
another one wishes and puts in action to get there. And Russia's the latter, right? It's not just about wishing
আমি কইলাম কাস্টার হইছে এডি নন স্টপ মানে নন স্টপ স্পিচ দিতেছে
with some out of this world Free Fire skills. At EWC, if Russia was not there, I do not think they would have become champions because he was the savior of the squad.
Team IGL
they could have gotten annihilated so early. He kept them alive. He kept them still collecting those points because there's a big probability that the other teams would catch up, activate Champion Rush, and then sneak it away from EVOS. So they still had to play the game of points by the end of the day. And Russia was the integral piece in that puzzle to keep them still in the competition. And of course, at the end of the day, they still managed to win the whole thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Without him, it would be a little bit difficult for EVOS to dominate overall.
First
I mean, more of Rasya and he was fine later
team
on.
গুলা দিব মেন টিম গুলা যারা টপে আইবো
to our next map. It is Purgatory.
Aishala animation diye
able save teams right now, especially for those
আরে বাপ করছে এবার
in the bottom
গ্লোবাল যারে কইছে
engagement fail.
Free Fire Global Series
Purgatory time.
FFWS.
And like you say, usually neither heaven nor hell, but they're about to get tortured for sure if they get into another sticky situation. Those hot drops are unforgiving. And I want to see if or not Red Hawks will make a little bit of an adjustment in terms of how they drop into the map. Maybe avoiding those central areas, picking a little bit of the edges, and Mode House is a perfect
RHK গেছে মথ হাউসের সাইডে ও ওগো সাইডে কোনো টিমই নাই পিছনে একটা টিম ক্রস রোডে
there's just too many entry points into that area with those zip lines. But they will be sharing a quite closer proximity with WAG, which is quite
down খেলে ব্যাক অফ করতে পারে
see though of how fast they can move because looking at
already fight R7P
at this point in Brasilia
R7 এর সামনে দুইটার সামনে একটা ছোট করে পি আরে লয়লা রে বলদের বাচ্চা রে লয়লা সিঙ্গেল প্লেয়ার
be able to beat them down. Speak of beating them down, United beating down GOW2 or
ওরা পজিশন মধ্যে নেমে গেছে না
but Dion will be brought back up.
Yeah, I mean, too easy on those revivals so early in the game as long as you've got a vending machine somewhere around you. But of course, it's a little bit more heated here. Dinoculus used early on. They do spot
fast fight R7
a lot of heat around the area, but it'll take a pause on the fight between Movistar and PE Sports. Checking out Buriram United Esports, a little split up on the battlefield as of this point.
R7 down.
For them to be concerned about as Nero finds hacks with the Vector, gets those connections on. LBD backs away, Trogon in hand, Game Sting right in front of him. Needs to back up the rest of his team members as Nero now flanks around from that left-hand side, takes the higher ground. Joker meets him halfway. Nolan right behind him. It's a 2v1. And Joker gets caught with his pants down. Great attempt by PE Sports and the teamwork Does get them an
একটা বাকি
extra
R7 এর
point.
সিঙ্গেল প্লেয়ার
James King, the only remaining vehicle in hand, but I don't think he'll be able to get away. Shot
Shesh.
onto first, and he will be
R7
taken
first
out.
শেষ
R7, once again, the first team to be eliminated. It's so unfortunate for them. We've seen the potential from EWC, but it's not showing up.
ফ্লুক্সোর সামনে ফ্লুক্সো ফাইট অলরেডি ফাইট এঙ্গেজ নিচে দুইটা
go crazy if this continues, and I don't like their crazy mode, man, because they are such a coin flip.
ফ্যালকনের পাশে একটা গাড়ি লয় MP5 আরে
let them play a lot of spoilers in the past, and those are the moments where they're very close to
আরে
getting
ফ্যালকনের একটা লইছে
eliminated, but then they bring out this beast mode, and that's exactly what's needed for them.
হেভির একটা টিমের একটা প্লেয়ারের লইছে 3v4 সিচুয়েশন ফ্যালকনের একটা ডাউন
little bit of
আরে
expectations off of them, so let's see in the rest of the 4 games whether or not they do rise up to the top. In the meantime, at Lumbermill, it's a battle between Heavy and Team Falcons. Kororo getting caught all alone here in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, Keroro right now in a 1v2 situation. One of the teammates has been recovered and brought back. Well, let's see if he'll be able to survive, move away, and probably give an opening to On Fire. I think I saw On Fire on the horizon earlier, and this push, this bait, might be the saving grace. And there you have it, Keroro, AC80, domination of close and personal, and he might be able to go for the shot moment that time turner expires. But no, the pickup has been done already, and recovery will follow.
Yeah, I mean, very well played by Kororo there. Sharpshooter for sure. Game of numbers still disabling him. Fantastic save coming on through from Heavy, pulling out the time turner and the glue wall. Kororo in the meantime just trying to get as many hits with the Empire against the time turner, but obviously not the best of ideas there. But Heavy still facing a lot of pressure. On Fire shows up now.
Yeah, On Fire on 1v2 clutch. Now let's see if he'll be able to do the same on Kabi. The revive will be done by Heavy, and well, that's a hint that On Fire needs to back away. No one's chasing him. Blue UAB to save a little bit more of strength for that blue wall, but Kabi is getting too close.
Oh, this is a big fight. Fluxo. Look at Bobs. He's got the grenade launcher. Can he make good use of it? Wasana and he goes in for the first rush, pushes in with the beautiful play on the shotgun, pushes him right out of the situation, but get high. Just managed to clip him. Got the Max 7 on.
Nice.
Unbelievable early shutdown.
Nice dominating.
The number 1 team off of game 1 has gotten eliminated so early by none other than Buriram.
And this is what I'm talking about. You did mention earlier the United hate all those talk against them is heating them up. Well, denied of that booyah. Now they want some payback, but seems like Team Falcons will not be paying back Heavy at this point. There's still a loss, only 1 remaining, and it seems like Heavy has just hunted each and every one from the players of Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Kind of getting the job done there. But it was a beautiful rotation in by Buriram. I think there was just too many seconds of second guessing on the side of Fluxo. They should have definitely used the grenade launcher, the M79 in hand. Would have, if not stopped, it would have slowed down Buriram, and they could have protected themselves a little bit better. But of course, mistakes are meant to be made early in the knockout stage so that the teams are able to clean up whatever mess that they still have in terms of their rotations as well as their strategy before we get into the grand finals. We've got a total of 36 games, out of which each squad will have to play 24. So 24 games to qualify in the top 12. I think it's more than sufficient. Mistake in 1 of the 24, nothing much to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, on day 1 and game the first half of the day, I guess. But if you lose out on all the games,
why you cursing them, man?
Bro, I mean, I just want to throw some truth in the battlefield, because we've seen that so many times. Yes, there is some hope, but the moment that they get cursed, and I'm not talking about us cursing them cursing themselves because of all the failures that's not being corrected. But speaking of that, Barros right now taking down Keroro, and we've seen that earlier, that Team Falcons is already lost. It seems like it's still, the curse is still following them.
Yes, who is speaking
nice.
Valiant dash in, breaking down 2 glue walls and an easy elimination, but On Fire, still on fire.
Bringing
back his team members one after the other. And now the standoff between PE Sports and Team Solid. Waka up on the roof, looking for a little bit of information, but PE does not want to stay and play. Abandoning the vending machine, looking for a rotation towards the left. But there's a big probability here that WAG comes swinging by. This is trouble time for Vietnam. WAG versus PE Sports with a little bit of interference out of Team Solid could just be a possibility.
The vehicle, the noise of the vehicle might have pull in PE Sports or probably have them on their toes. The same goes for Team Solid. But as you can see the map or the minimap, they are getting close, a little too close for comfort into PE Sports. The same goes for Red Hawks. Hopefully, Red Hawks hang back
already. Red Hawks fight
want to be part of this. If Red Hawks
pitch upore
longer,
Falcon der সাথে AG
firepower to do so. But speaking of firepower, like Falcon is feeling all those firepower.
Falcon na Falcon
the game up until now. There's still
Falcon er position আর গ্রেড মারছে রে
Superman on him though, on fire. Grenade. Okay, it's just a glue wall melter.
Nothing
much to worry about for now, but you gotta admire how Team Falcons has managed to quickly recover their squad. Everybody's got
AG bear hai dorta AG
because multiple revivals have been pulled so far. AG Global kind of putting themselves in a disadvantage by splitting up here. Limit has to take advantage, but Dew is still alive and kicking. Has got the VSK in hand alongside the Car 98. Deep Freeze will not find anyone. Kororo down to half his health, but has got the time turner to protect himself. A double glue wall pulled up as well. Riptide Rhythm courtesy off limit goes in for the shot. Still not finding any connections onto Team SR. They do have the electrotherapy, but Kororo straight into the fight in a 1v2. Those glue walls get erected. Kororo not giving up with the Max 7, has the confidence and the rate of fire. Damage is there as well. Breaking down all the defenses is Pina. Valiant dash takes out those glue walls, but it's all alone. Surviving against two players, and Dew takes the fight straight up again. Pina survives that. Can he come in clutch? Glue wall erected. Dew back up on his feet. Pina with the Bison. But can't seem to find the action. Puts Dew down once again. But the valiant effort taken out by a double revolver of all things. AG Global smashes Falcons.
I was counting how many
ভাই এবার টুর্নামেন্টে বুঝা যাবে ভাই এবার পয়েন্ট টেবিলে প্রচুর হিসাব হইব প্রচুর
Team SR that he didn't touch, and that's another unfortunate play coming from Team Falcons, and AG Global will push through, but will they be able to make it close to the 10-minute mark? And it seems like a lot of risks already being taken by the team, and as you look at this view, there's no more that the agent will be able to sell, whether the land, whether the house, everything is booked.
My goodness me, that battle between AG and Falcons.
Player देखसे
The M1917 coming in clutch at the very end. Imagine having to pull out your secondary, but it was just big brain stuff, right? You
Heaven versus
you still need to stay in the fight instead of just running away, reloading. You pull out your secondary. I think the presence of mind there
AG ভালো dominating বের করছে
on the side of AG Global to manage that situation. They've also gotten a double revival now, so we do expect them back in the fight in a little bit. Heavy on the other hand, circling in, looking for the zone, but they will have to be careful here because out in the open, if they do get caught by some long-range shots, they'll have to use up a lot of those precious glue walls.
আর আমরা বিদন ফালাই দেই না
You know, if they'll be able to use that, but look at Brim United, they're not rushing, crossing to the river. They do have launch pad, but where will they land? I think the rig would be the best option for them, and I think that's what they're going to do. Shots by Kabi, I think it missed a little bit, but I think with the information that is gathered by Heavy, they might be backing away, taking a few more cover before they go for the fight.
But that was a very good jump pad usage here by Buriram. Granted, we've updated the game. You get to be much more accurate now with your jump pad location and repositioning. But Buriram made the right choice, and that's the biggest factor. Heavy could not take full advantage of it. Clearly, not all of their players playing on the marksman and the snipers.
AG, RHK
Heavy would not want to make that mistake of early when the lobby still has got 9 squads available. as we approach our 12th.
9 squad available.
Let's see though. I mean,
Poitirishta
Dew
player.
is flying solo at this point, surrounded by a lot of teams. I guess it's just
Ki
more
re bhai,
information
ki
that
zone.
they need to gather before they take real estate at this point. But shots
Blade fire
from
dise.
Red Hawks Blade right now onto, I believe, is WAG.
Drone bang
And,
se.
well, that would trigger even E1 Sports to point their guns at them. Now, that's the problem. When you still have a lot of teams remaining in this part of the circle, in this part or face of the circle, there's a lot of shots that you might receive. And that's not a problem for Brunei United because they are hanging way far
Already
away
TS
from the rest of the
versus. Go, TS,
Zone time
TS,
once
TS,
again.
TS.
Riptide Rhythm breaking down.
Danger
couple of
zone.
blue walls up on the
What the
roof,
fuck?
but nobody home. GOW though, looking for one. Getting out of bed, so nothing much from that situation. GOW on a little bit of a rotation route to the right-hand side, looking for a good
Danger
flank.
zone.
But overall, they've got a very decent spot in this next circle. There's nothing much for them to worry about overall.
Yeah. The Flame Zone, looking at it, it's just nostalgic. Remember the danger zone that we had from the past? It is just
RHK
bringing a lot
0,
of
WAG
memories.
0,
But let's see if
Go
there's
0,
something
TS
that
2
they would have heard, because all the noise might be distracting as well. It's not just the visuals, it's also the noise. And you might not be able to hear your opponent get closer to you. But for United, not faced at all, jumping behind Red Hawks. And I don't think Red Hawks is ready for that push, but
Are Blader pichone.
they will be moving out. That might be it for Red Hawks.
A great position of the glue wall by Nejat. Manages to walk away with Jonah. Finding Flicker with the grenade launcher. Blade on for the save. Nejat dropping by as well. Kutush has to use the medkit. Can't get into a fight just yet. And Wasana takes advantage by shooting from the very corner of the window. Hops on in. The trade out is there. Flicker finds Wasana, but Jonah does the rest of the damage from outside. Buriram overall getting capped. Unbelievable!
Oh my!
As Red Hawks backs away, Buriram goes down, and all of the Bangladeshi fans will say that's what you get when you mess with Red Hawks, but they only have played.
My God!
This has to be the end for Red Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, Nero did take him down, but
Ora
valiant
goto
effort
ball
from the
shot
Red Hawks. Now a little bit scramble coming from MotherBoard
Nice.
Esports.
না না এবার পয়েন্ট টেবিল প্রচুর হিসাব হইব কারণ এবারকার যারা গত ম্যাচে জিরোতে ছিল ওরা এবার ভালো পজিশন বার করতেছে এবার পয়েন্ট টেবিলে প্রচুর হিসাব হইব হেভেন তো লয়ে যেতে পারে
Nero once again with M79.
Yeah, Nero just took himself out of the equation there, unfortunately as well, right after the initial connection. And that puts in a little bit of a pickle. But thankfully, the final player up on his feet manages to get the final elimination and potentially a save here as well. Lao Ho taken out, so Pao gets that point for the squad. PE Sports will not be able to walk away with the booyah on this game. But of course, valiant effort to make it all the way in here. Once again, we've got an equal fight between the West and the East as far as squads are concerned. But when you look at the numbers on those squads, the East has no chance of picking up a booyah here. It's going to be a back-to-back Western gameplay, Western dominance by East.
Danger zone phalai dite bhai, like serious?
Game too, I have to say.
Yeah. Team Solid looking so solid right now, though they lost Knicks. They still have the numbers advantage against E1 and AG, but a shift of the zone might throw them off. And Pao was already taking down the walls, and there's still a good chance that they will be able to continue this on unless AG Global 2 can heal up, can survive, and get away from those that carnage and take down a few players of Team Solid. But he needs that distance. He needs his long-range weapon. That is what he is best for.
Yeah, and now Dew just needs to play a couple of extra seconds here. Best case scenario, he out-survives one of the two squads out there that he's going up against. But Trap quickly repositioning. This is trouble time for Dew. Trap will be able to quickly take him out of the equation with this position that he holds on to now. But Dew moves in a little bit deeper. Potential to spot out Pao. Dew out, has the mini Uzi in hand, gets into the car instead. But spray down, not there. Dew Liberobel still tries to get away, but Trap with the grenade launcher will take him out, and it is Team Solid picking
Team
up
solid.
the second booyah here on day one for the West.
Bhai,
And
ye jo
for
on the
the
bike
time
changed dile,
being, the East is able to smile, but it is
Aye.
the West laughing all the way to the bank, at least a little closer.
Well, Brazil represent. First
Brazil.
up was
Again,
Fluxo,
bye.
then it was Team Solid. And even
Okay.
E1 Sports survived a little bit longer, so it seems like they will be taking the top board once again. The booyah being grabbed by Brazil. And I'm just
Fluxora Brazil.
surprised on how this coming up, because from what I remember, Brazil or Latin
E1.
Brazil, everyone from the West is very much in a passive state, but not this time around. They know how to time their game. They know how to choose their engagement as well. And it seems like they studied a lot of regions to get to where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. I think Brazil has just been doing a lot of homework because they understand that it is going to be a slugfest out there by the end of the day. If they're not prepared for the fight, they are going to go down without a smile. But for now, Brazil can smile, the West can smile because they are absolutely dominating with consistency. But the question is, it is just the region bringing in the consistency. Granted, we've only gotten 2 games in here so far because if we all remember, Fluxo with a massive booyah after game 1, this game, they got caught out by Buriram a little bit too early.
Yeah, I mean, though they are number 1, 9-point lead below Buriram United, that's one thing that the United want to reduce the lead between them and Fluxo. But they were not expecting this end result as well as a takedown against them. So let's see though on how high or how low Buriram United has brought themselves after game number 2. But one thing's for sure, Team Solid, after 10 points from game number 1 and a massive game in game number 2, they might be taking over that number 1 spot.
Team Solid, looking solid. That's exactly what we expect out of them, and they're delivering on the expectations. You gotta like it, you gotta love it. But once again, you've got 24 games. If you're one of the teams that has messed up 2 of those matches, you've got 22 more. So it's not about messing up. It's learning from that experience and making sure you've got the capability to bring in the adjustments. Now, on the global stage, that is a little bit easier said than done because even if you know what the adjustments are, even if you go out there with those correct maneuvers, with those correct adjustments, you still got to look at the capability of your opponents on the opposite end. And once again, we are on the world stage. This is not the creme de la creme of a region, of a country. It is the best of the best across the world. And this is as good as it gets, man. Let's take a look at the standings off of that matchup and see exactly how well did the squad do for themselves through those numbers. 23 points in total for Team Solid, so this should get them quite up high on the leaderboard because they were not too far away from the number 1 spot earlier. All gamers global, 10 elimination, 8 play point per total 8, and equalized by E11 who are right behind them as they survived a little longer.
Yeah, well, let's see though. There's a lot more that can be put in, and Heavy right now still on the top 5. I'm loving performance of the team. A lot of elimination, surviving a little bit longer, and they again. I'm quite surprised who is the coach who is taking the lead in Heavy side because they are doing quite well.
Total 11. আরে এখনো পারবো
to that number 2 spot, but
Red Oxer 11 na?
Team Solid taking over that number 1 spot because they had 10 points already. Plus the
Brazilian team দুটো বুঝা লইছে দেখছো ফ্লুক্সো আরিয়ে ফ্লুক্সো কিন্তু টপে আছিল এখন কিন্তু ডাউনফল টিম সলিড একে গেছে গা কইলাম না এবার পয়েন্ট টেবিল প্রচুর হিসাব হইবো ফ্যালকন রেড অক্সের নিচে ভাই সিলেকশন করব
so well in that first game. They pick nothing up in the second matchup, but looking at how they did at Alpine, we are fairly confident that we can expect a little bit more from them. But overall, Brazil doing very, very well for themselves. Let's take a look a little bit at the team stats here. You've got the combination of Skyler, Steffi,
qualify dia korta hon
1 to 4. Still no narrow on the side of Brazil, but I am not complaining, right? 3 of them walking in here with the tactical market as well. Neptune only
Bangladesh এটা মনে কর যে
team boosters in
opportunity পাইছে করুক আসতে দিরে উঠুক
his opponents. He's got that extra backup when it comes to the defense out of Joseph, J. Beebs and Ford. So we kind of see exactly where all of the aggression is coming from. But the MVP, though, is still hacked. He got a triple on that final engagement there earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And I was looking at the skills as well, because yes, the team booster is only being used by Nyx,
Yep.
but Hack has that Olivia, so it counters
Blade
whatever
কাম
is
বগাই
missing
দিছে।
in terms of the loadout,
Yep.
and he can use tactical market freely at that point. So again, it depends on the play style and the mix and match of skills, the loadout, and whatever everything else, like plus the weapon. But it brings Hack to a different reign when it comes to taking the lead, because he did mention a triple on that final elimination, and also in terms of damage, he put in a few more, and that's one reason why he is the MVP right now. And his favorite weapon is the M590. We've seen that being used, those swings, those jumps, those hits being done by the Brazilians, and this weapon is just pristine.
Yeah, and like you said, right, he walks in here with the Olivia. He also has Joseph as well as Ford out there. Even though Ford had a little bit of a nerf recently on the OB51 update, these teams are still making him one of their favorite picks. We all understand why. You're going out there, you activate your active skill, you get a little bit of extra boost. You activate the active skill, you refresh the capability out of Ford, so that recovery helps you stay up on your feet a little longer, and clearly it helped out greatly in that final engagement. Now, let's take a look at the weapon progression here as well for the squad.
Yeah, I mean, as we look in what weapons has been used in Circle 3, we've seen a VSK as well as AC-80. So
Yeah.
at this point, you still have distance from the rest of the team. And then as they move into Circle 5, Nyx has switched from the AC-80 to M590, anticipating that close-range encounter would happen, and it's stuck until Circle 6. But Trap right now, using that M79, I'm loving this. We've seen that in the first game up until now, that it can still bring on a lot of damage, especially for teams who's not using that Steffi. So you can take advantage of that if you don't see that gold circle around it. But if it's not available, or if that shows up, then you need to switch weapon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, some of the teams have been very proficient on the M79, especially on the global finals. You're going to be expecting a lot of these grenade launches, and both Trap as well as Hack did very, very well in that final circle with these close-range weapons, right? You've got the M79 to get an area of, effect damage, as well as the M590 with a little bit of an explosive damage at the very end of the shotgun connections as well. But Buriram did well up until this point when they engaged with Red Hawk.
Blade
I think Red Hawks were being a little bit too passive in here. But when they stood up and took this fight up against Buriram, my jaw dropped. I could not believe what I was seeing at that point.
Again, from the moment I saw Red Hawks, it seems like the movement is emulated from those like Borem United in Southeast Asia. So I know that they can move in close quarter. Plus, the update gives you more chances of surviving. The glue
Next
UAV,
match maybe Kalahari.
most instance, with the glue UAV out of the picture, those glue walls could have fallen already, and Red Hawks could have been taken out. But probably that is what threw Borem United off their game for that final moment, giving advantage to Blade to survive even longer.
Yeah, absolutely. E1 did do very well this time around. Both E1 as well as Team Solid in that final circle, kind of making Brazil very, very proud once again, because Brazil's literally carrying the West in this lobby. We all saw what happened to Movistar R7 in the past 2 matches. They've only managed to pick up 1 point in total, not even 1 point in each match. So Movistar R7 not having a good day at all. It could be the spicy food in Jakarta, or it could just be the first day jitters. We all understand exactly how it is. It's quite nerve-wracking to fly all the way out to another country, to sit down on this massive, beautiful stage and try to do your best against some of the best around the world. So Movistar R7, they haven't found it just yet within themselves, but they've got 4 more games to play recovery.
Yeah, I guess it's the mindset as well that needs to be changed for the side of Movistar. From the beginning of the game, they are targeting Borem United, and they did. They managed to at least get knockdowns, and they got eliminated. And I think they're just trying to catch up change. Get get that rivalry away up until the moment wherein you're already recovered with the points and then bring it on. But let's see if that's something they can do in Kalahari right now, because yes, hot drops is possible, but the long range, the getaway might be difficult because there's so much open area in this map.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, I can't wait to see how some of these teams
William
play
G.
this recovery on
Bangladesh
Kalahari.
Cup.
If we're going to take the data that we have collected from all of the past competitions, throw it out of the window, right? Only because it's the global finals, and the heat on the stage is a little bit different. The confidence on the stage as well is a little bit different. We saw how Fluxo could go from that most dominant team with massive eliminations in game 1 to getting nothing in game 2. Things can change around, you know, time and time again. And a quick player quote here as well. When we checked out what Wasana had to say for some of their opponents, actually for Buriram, from time to time, we do have our bad days. Yes, Buriram, we all know that. And if we have to choose a rival at our lowest, it'll be Red Hawks. Hashtag Red Hawks #1. So, and we understand why he's saying this as well, right? Because the Red Hawk fans are some of the loudest fans we have ever heard. And they are in every single broadcast, every single comment section. But we love you guys for that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Red Hawks #1 coming from Buriram United, and that was a double-edged sword coming from Wasana at that point. But hopefully for those who understood, then you will be getting the picture of what Wasana meant. But for Red Hawks, there's a lot of fans out there really looking forward for them to perform. It's just up to the team.
প্রত্যেকটা স্ট্রিমে খালি রেড হক্স দেখছস বাবা ফ্যান বেজ অনেক বড়
that has happened from the past would make them a little bit more hype at this point, because they did move up a little bit after game number 2, and if that
বিমানে গেছে মাত্র বিমানে হেনে
they might be in the top 4, if not top 5, by the end of the day, unless everyone else follows through.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I'm still waiting for Red Hawks to find the leaderboard. By the way, a quick shout out to Bangladesh. Ami Tomake Balobashi. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you share the broadcast as well for all of your friends in to see. If not, Red Hawks can play a little bit of
stream on the Red Hawks. অন্য কোন টিম নাই ওই
did show us a better version of themselves in the second game through the placement points. You know, eliminations a little bit as well, but it's not enough for me just yet, man.
Yeah, let's see though if that's something that they can change.
Already started.
We are
animation by
map of Kalahari, where high ground is important. Long range is even more cautious. That need to be taken by the team, but it's more of the drop spot as well. It needs to be considered by everyone at this point. Whether the flight path is fair or offset, they would need to be on their toes, whether they're dropping in on refinery or into the edges of that map. That would be the priority would be on survivability.
And of course the players all gearing up for this Kalahari drop. Question is, do we see some hot drops? Because when we were looking at the script for these teams preparing for the grand final, quite a number of times Red Hawks as well as Buriram shared the same drop spot. But thank goodness we had those cribs, because it doesn't seem to be happening anymore. I think Red Hawks were like, okay, guys, you know what? Let's just respect the Thai giants and move away. And I think that's pairing them quite well so far.
Yeah, there will be a time. There will be a time
Blade
that
already
they can challenge them,
figured
the moment that they get a groove on their rotation as well as the opponent's rotation as well. But Trap and Tikui, X4 might be able to go for a surprise, but Nyx will be waiting. So I love this patience, the patient gameplay. Time turner a little bit too early, and Tikui receiving a little bit shots, but not so much of damage though. And again, your weapon as well as your armor is not that high just yet in this first half. Even the backup without its X4 is in trouble. So seems solid. This time around.
Wow, beautiful backup by Tikui, but he asked for trouble and he received it. Nyx turned around,
flexible
straight up with that AC-80, and now Nyx has the opportunity to once again focus on X-Ball, but Nyx is not the only one X-Ball has to worry about here. A 2v1 situation, and Nyx should be able to take the final engagement, but X-Ball, unbelievable AUG counter, gets the knockdown. On Red Hawks, having a little heat out there. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses. X-Ball shut down by Hack, who appeared at the nick of time. VSS straight to the head to take the sniper out.
Yeah, nick of time, pun intended. I'm supposed.
আরে
Hacks right
কুটুস
now, taking down Kutush. But the rest of Red Hawks is nowhere to be found. Well, Blade is up top.
my.
And
Blade on.
a great shot coming from Joker, even before Hacks managed to jump on. Now, let's see though. There's still a few players from Red Hawks
Bad
right
luck,
now.
bad luck.
But if this
Chess.
continue, if this pattern continue, it might be the end for the team once again in game number 3. So let's see if that's something that they can change from this moment on, or probably
ওরা
later if
position
they
লইতে
get
পারতেছে না
annihilated.
Yeah, Buriram cheated us. Sana cheated us. They told us they
আরে
love
কে
Red
ভাই
Hawks,
একটা
and
বাচ্চা আছে
now
না ভাই
they took down another one. And we've got a final survivor out of Red Hawks here, the one and only Nejad. Poor guy has to pick up
Dani.
enough coins to bring back all 3 of his team members, or at least find a revival platform.
দেখাইবো না
Get the
দেখাইবো
deal
না
done. But now, a skirmish between
তাকে দেখছো
Movistar
ফ্রি
R7
ফায়ার
and
গ্লোবাল
Buriram.
এর
As
মারে
Captain
বাপরে
Jonah goes out for a stroll all alone. Is this a bait? Is he bringing them straight into his squad of Buriram players? You have to wait and see in a little bit, as GOW has a little bit of a standoff here on Refinery as well, up against PE Sports.
Let's see though, it is a Vietnam civil war at this point.
Danger zone and chart 7
GoW
are play.
just hanging into the vending machine. Not sure what the plan
Vending
is
machine
right
hold করছে
now, but that damage will push them away. Glue UAV being
ওরে
Baker will be down. M590 coming from Nolan LBT will shut
Nice.
down hands. But the pickup is not possible. Now Rip would be the next target, and the rest of GOW might be going down.
That was one of the best Valiant Dashes 180 M590 connections we have seen in a long time. I'm sure he was practicing that quite a number of times. It was too smooth, Neptune. And RIP says RIP to myself as he gets taken out of the equation as well. But GOW still standing. One more survivor. They close in on him to eliminate the player from the lobby. The rest of the heavy players will be able to spot that out and back away.
Yeah, and GOW would be first team to be taken out, dealing with Brim United, though a knockdown has ensued, but no elimination just yet. So command post would be the next stop for Brim United after their drop from their initial area. But I'm seeing that Red Hawks is slowly recovering. But compared to that, Team Falcons managed to pay back to what Heavy has done to them from the previous map. So I guess this might be the rise of Team Falcons after a faltering game from the first 2.
Electrotherapy connecting Cypher. Question is, Team SR, very smart play here. Picking out the WAG players as they quickly flank around. Now giving the vantage point to WAG. This is a very smart play from AG Global, but they put the trip mine on the wrong wall, so it's unfortunate. But it's okay. Mistakes happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite surprised though on how WAG and AG Global finds themselves, and Cypher with AC-80 takes down X4. So they lost the long range power. Will be able to go for the push, but he is losing Team SR behind him, so he needs to wait.
Single player
one, the divide and conquer approach by AG Global seems to be working.
Yeah, absolutely. AG Global now. Just circulating a sliver of health, but not a problem at all for these boys. Baros almost got taken down.
Revival
to get the elimination first. Red Hawks up against Heavy. Riptide Rhythm from afar. Solid, shutting all of them down. And Nejad just brought one player in to revive the exact same yet again. Since those 2 players that he did manage to pull the revival on got eliminated, but it looks like he found enough cash once again. Full squad for the Bangladeshi squad.
Yeah, teams are back in play. Now let's see if they can put in themselves in a number for later. Because I'm not forcing Red Hawks to go for the engagement
Falcon
right
Heaven.
now.
Oh yeah.
Position kilo heated. Heaven
they need to gear up.
Heaven full team
but Habi might not be that ready, because it seems like Team Falcons would stop them in their heels. Kabi plus one more that would spell elimination for the entire heavy squad.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate because Heavy just keeps being put on the recovery this time around. Just like Red Hawks, I'll have to say. But it's very impressive that Red Hawks have managed to find the full recovery, not once, but 3 times so far, just in this lobby. But now, as we can see, just on the top and right-hand side corner there, AG Global slowly circling in. Nejad has been using that compound to play the revivals, but if he gets caught out, it's going to be a little bit troublesome for the rest of the Red Hawks squad.
Oh, it seems the trouble has found him, and Kutush would be running away. Mammoth would not be a place that you stay. Again, I did mention that the exit strategy is what they need. And Kutush right now, 192, almost being taken down as Team SR, but unfortunately, Do has him on his side. But Flicker, as quick as that, revives him. Another full squad revival.
I mean, very solid play from AG Global, just going in this buddy system, splitting off the squad of 4, just getting into 2 different smaller combinations. A 2-to-2 combo seems to be working perfectly for them as they flank around. And I think this maneuver has been used multiple times now and has proven to be very effective. Even against Falcons earlier, they managed to effectively do this. So clearly the squad has been practicing this for a while now. AG Global used to be a very soft squad, not looking so anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I heard from Lil Bird that Do has relinquished his IGL throne, and it is being taken by Barros, and that gives more chances for him to looking quite pristine, looking quite well from Southeast Asia.
এলিমিনেশন বের হবে না যখন দেখব ওরা ফাইট এঙ্গেজ ফুল এঙ্গেজ তখন আর বই দেখো দেখ এখন কিছু করতেছ না যখন ফুল ফাইট এঙ্গেজ হয়ে যাব
But for Movistar R7, well, we still need to see them move up because at the bottom is where they are in the leaderboard compared to where they are in the sub.
Yeah, great vantage point for Movistar. A perfect defensive spot.
Position ঘুরতাছে পেয়ে দেখছস রোড
But that
করতেছে
also puts both of these squads in
ফ্যালকনটা
a
লঞ্চ
little
প্যাড মারছে
bit of a uncomfortable position if the circle drags them away from the sub. Because obviously Movistar R7 will have a great vantage point at the top. Team Solid will have a perfect aim up towards their heads. It's not going to look good for either one of them if the circle is not kind on this next move. Fluxo down at the bottom here. And it looks like they don't have to worry about a lot of these engagements. But again, even if I say that, if they move in towards the players of Movistar R7, they'll have to deal with not just R7,
ওরা খেয়াল করছে এর লাগি হোল্ড করে রইছে
and to make things worse, PE Sports approaching the sub as well.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, all those would be happening in a few seconds. For Heavy, they open up the arsenal, arming themselves a little bit more, but they need to they are tanking the blue as of this moment. I mean, similar to what we've seen some of the teams delaying their approach, and it's still early. 3rd to the 4th would be happening in 15 seconds. So that's
blade position মতো আছে blade position মতো আছে
AG Global
blade যতক্ষণ আছে আমার ভরসা আছে
player from Red Hawks and Flicker would be revived by Nejad, but this is what I'm talking about. They keep hanging back on the same spot. Probably it's because of safety. Probably it's because the scout has delivered that there's no opponent. But AG Global is staying back. Just make sure that they have sight on Red Hawk.
Yeah, I thought AG Global made a mistake here because we don't see the 2-to-2 buddy system anymore from AG. Barros is running way too far ahead from the other team members. And getting caught out obviously would not be great.
About danger zone.
Nobody were spotting out AG Global on that rotation. And now in the flame zone, 2 squads getting caught out.
Danger
spots as well as Burirab. Jonah gets tagged up a little bit. Captain can play that recovery here, but they are in the next safe zone, so not a lot of rotations needed. This doesn't look like the safest spot to play because when the circle, if the circle moves away from Burirab, they've just got open lands in front of them, and a lot of those blue balls have to be used.
I definitely agree with that, and hopefully they can find their position. But for E1 Sports, the position is on them, especially when they're dealing with Team Solid. But PE Sports is also throwing a few on them. But it needs to finish now. Otherwise, a lot of teams will be stepping in, flying in,
পিছনে এজি
and that position that would limit X7 and AWM.
এই যে এনএও খেলা একটা দুটা তিনটা পাঁচটা স্কোর এই জায়গায় কুটুসের সামনে কুটুস যদি সাইলেন্সারে কিল বার করতে পারে মানে ডাউন রে তাইলে খেলা হয়ে যাবে ফ্যালকনের সামনে একটা হেভেন ডাপ জোনের বাইরে এখনো
This is definitely crunch time for the movements. As we mentioned, Buriram, they'll have to deal with a lot of pressure as they look for this next circle if it moves away from them. And unfortunate for Buriram, it does.
ফ্লুক্সর উপরে E1 ফ্লুক্সর দিতাছে বিন দেয়া
pressure onto Flux.
প্রেসার ক্রিয়েট করতেছে নাকি
A little civil war within the Brazilians. It is Movistar hacks with massive damage this time around. Movistar, great recovery.
আরে হেভেন ডাউন দুইটা রাউন্ড শেষ হেভেন শেষ
Facing a little bit of a
Falcon
heavy
Dalali
challenge
7
from the back. The rotation by Falcons, absolutely sublime. Snuffing out two of their players and don't cry.
লাভ নাই
About to cry as he drives
ওই
Mufasa
যে
away.
পিগো সামনে পড়ছে
Yeah, it seems like Heavy would be crying a lot because it is Team Falcons who's bringing them down in more instances.
Zene bagger boy, ene shonda.
Very close to PE Sports right now, plus the noise that they made, they will be targeted by a lot of teams. And with that, Jackie, as he heals up, Don't Cry would be a target by PE Sports. But United, though, moving on to the left, Team Falcons on the right, E1. Well,
Bye. AG আর R7 fight করতে আসছে
long range, but I don't think they've spotted Brim just yet. Unless shots will be made, they will be able to squeeze themselves in.
RHK এর আবার শেষ একজন শেষ
now. MP7 looking straight at Get High looking at MP7 and Jonah making
আরে E1 বুড়রামে দুটো আরে পুকু বুড়রামে ডাউন করে দিছে
and they do not give them an opportunity to recover. And now Wasana under pressure as well as the Riptide Rhythm breaks down his defenses. R7 Della shuts down Nejad. Redhawks are still alive.
Red Hawk still alive and kicking Couture, so almost
It
is hacks from above, and well, the sub has been occupied by R7 for long, and well, it seems like Red Hawks will not surviving that long. Now for AJ, great position to get away from the sights of Movistar R7, but the only question is, how will they move up later on once they step in, especially in those stairs? Team Solid will be waiting for them.
Whoa. Fluxo early downer once again. I mean, they started off super hot. This could be a plan. Maybe they want to show others that they are maybe not the most fearsome team this time round until the grand finals, of course. E1 loses their double barricade
Fluxo
of Mr. Joker, who saves rhythm off of his Skylar that has not gone into a cooldown just yet. Will be able to use it once again from this vantage point on top of the sub, but they'll have to move towards the opposite end of the sub now, using up their glue walls as well. Falcon is rotating down from that lower ground to potentially encounter a double nader out of the M79 courtesy of
M79 M79
down, put it out.
Finin XP with a double. Now let's see if they can recover and deal with both Heavy as well as Team Falcons, and including the mix would be PE Sports, a little bit of Blue Wall Melter and Blue UAV as well to protect themselves. But Mufasa would be in trouble in a moment. Riptide Rhythm, but still managed to get away. Unfortunately for Lion, he has been knocked down, and there's little to no chance for him to be picked up.
Yeah, this is crazy. E1 about to get down and shut out of the lobby, and that's exactly what happens as Falcons picks up the title of elimination leader. Circling in the circle on the side of Falcons. They have the big advantage here. Full squad as well.
AG টানবো আমার মন না কইছে AG টানবো TS versus AG TS
Solid up against AG Global. They do have the vantage point, but AG very smartly sneaking under the platform to make sure they are not the target of anyone.
I love what AG did. I mean, Glue Wall Melter just on that platform that pushes the teams to move away.
Single
and
blade
let's see if Team Solid will be able to maintain their flank right now onto PE Sports, because they still have the cover, but compared to where Movistar R7 is positioned, might be a loss, but AG at them. The shift of the circle, as you did mention, favoring
position kharab zone deck Falcon এর কাছে zone
way already, probably gatekeeping the rest of the team. Joker, a headshot, and it seems to be continuing with.
পীর সামনে
and a great rotation round. Movistar R7 still under pressure.
TSP
R7 is going to be moving away from them. They pull out the glue UAV to barricade and protect all of the blue walls. Extra bit of defense, leaving Team Solid to shut down PE Sports.
back up
into them. Just like that, will
Yes,
eliminate
yes.
the whole squad of Team Solid. Cypher picking up 2 out of the 3 eliminations. AG Global on a different level at this point of time. Looking for PE Sports as well, and a little bit of extra help for their glue walls. But the circle will leave them high and dry. Barros up in the air. He does have a little bit of capability to play this maneuver, but R7 waits them right beyond those defenses.
Yeah, let's see if AG can.
R7 এই ম্যাচে কাকাম বগাই লাইছে
Falcons might take them
দুই
down.
ম্যাচ খারাপ খেললে এই ম্যাচে কাকাম বগাই
And
লাইছে
between the East and West would be AG Global, and there's no way out other than forward. Now, they are putting in the glue UAV. Not quite sure if that's a good plan, because earlier I saw someone trying to break down the glue wall, but it's redeemed by that glue UAV. But still, Riptide Rhythm delaying those breakdown, but still R7 survive as they pull down.
Yeah, I mean, thank God they were in this spot. Early rotation gives the advantage to R7.
এখন এজি খেবো মাইট
Well, that
দেবো মেরে খেবো
the
দিস
lower ground.
দুই সাইড থেকে
Now making their way back up to the top is going to be a little bit of challenge. But
যদি R7 কোন মতে একটা গ্রেনেড মারে উপরে শেষ
advantage to R7. Could we see the West pick up a back-to-back booyah here? The first 3 games all for the West. There's no better way to start off this grand
Character
final of
skill?
AG Global. Now, this time, get a little bit of a peek at the Falcons players. But how many more glue walls do they have? R7 finally shows up into the fight, and Falcons rotating over towards the left-hand side. AG Global should be able to aim down at them, but R7 counts out Falcons to take down AG Global.
Yeah, it seems like in a bit we'll see.
Are Falcon. R7 আর Falcon.
4v4 situation, but favor is
Yes.
still on Team
Falcon মেরে খেলবো Falcon মেরে খেলবো
but missing that shot will be taken down, and Team Falcons would be
না লয়ে লেছে
will be on the ground. Booyah will be taken by
না ফার্স্ট ডাউন ফ্যালকনটা খাইছিল কিন্তু হিললে লাইছে ওই জানছে ওরা বোকামি করছে ফার্স্ট ডাউন দিয়ে ওরা লুটালো না
of the global finals for 2025 so far, with the number of points the team Falcons
R7 কাম বগাই লাইছে এবার
for themselves.
ইতালি
At the
টিম
start of this game, Team Falcons were placed 10th on the overall leaderboard. They have only picked up 10 points off of the first 2 games, an average of 5 points per game, but they've definitely increased their average after this match.
সমস্যাটা হইছে কি প্রথমত ওরা ফার্স্ট ফাইটটা বের করতে পারতাছে না
definitely. I mean, they know how to get themselves back up despite of how low you push them. Well, let's see though if they'll be able to overtake the ones in the top, because it seems like Team Solid, yes, they were surviving so much longer despite of the pressure coming from above, but the position was not that well. Team Falcon, on the other hand, taking every step of the way, chasing against Heavy, and still managed to get a full squad into the final circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, valiant effort from AG Global overall, but it just wasn't their day, wasn't their game specifically, I have to say, as Falcons just had the better squad. And when Falcons tried to rotate away, Movistar R7 started rotating at the same time. That was just a little bit too
কিন্তু ভাই এবার এই ম্যাচে R7 কাম বগাই লাইছে দুই ম্যাচের উসুল তিন ম্যাচের উসুল এক ম্যাচে দুই ম্যাচের উসুল এক ম্যাচে লাইছে
fire onto the players of Movistar R7. It actually turned on them, and the attention paid to AG Global early by the 2 squads was just absolutely disastrous for them. But of course, Falcons picking up a lot of those eliminations, sneaking those points to themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what they need right now. And we know how it is. Despite of being down in the early parts of the game, they just know how to switch it up. And that's one thing that we ask, like most instances, for the teams that are failing in the first few matches, especially in the knockout stage. And we did mention about like learning from those mistakes, and hopefully a third game, if you still make the same mistake, I don't know what else to say.
Well, it is what it is, man. This is the global finals. This is the place where teams make right decisions and teams unfortunately make the wrong decisions. And like we said, even if you do have the right decision in your head, executing out there on the lobby, on the global finals is just not a easy task at all. I think the nerves are just on the very edge here, just waiting to break, and it has broken for quite a number of these squads. But it's still still very nice to see the recovery from teams, but this lobby was stupidly difficult, okay? We had the final
Stupidly difficult.
Bro, how do you even do that? There is just no way. There is no way you get to manage that chaos without breaking, right? And I think the teams that did manage to play that very well on the rotations was Movistar R7. I think their rotations were very timely, and even when they were put in a sticky situation,
R7
they still managed to use
match
the terrain
আমি
to
কো
their
বললাম না
advantage.
এক ম্যাচে ওরা কাম্বো গায় লাগিয়ে
The booyah, I would have loved to see the
এমন করে
West pick
একটা
up
ম্যাচ
3
ব্যাক
in a row
ব্যাক
to
করতে
kick off
পারলে
the
আরএসকে
global finals, but
শেষ
the East still
কোয়ালিফাই মনে করো
has a little bit to say, I guess.
Yeah, let's see though if what else can be done. But in bed, we're going to see the game standings at this point, and we'll be able to anticipate how high the team
10 number
has moved. 29
এক kill
solid points
করছে
coming from Team
এক পয়েন্ট
Falcons
পাইছে এই
with
ম্যাচে
17 elimination. AG Global did almost the same with 12 elimination, but in terms of placement, they were gunned down before Movistar R7 was dealt with. So they tied it up with 20 points. PE Sports, though we didn't see them that much, when it's only on that final battle where they tried to
elimination.
survive that well, but that's one reason as well why they only got 5 elimination. Quite surprised why Team Falcons only had 5 elimination, because they have good cover. It's only R7 that they need to deal with. It's more of how the zone is pushing them, and they couldn't push through against those already in front.
Yeah, my bad, man. I thought they had 18 eliminations to set the record, but unfortunately, they only picked up 7. Look at me saying, unfortunately, they only got 17 eliminations. So they match up to what Fluxo got on that Alpine map to open up the day with 29 points. But of course, this is going to allow Team Falcons to jump up quite a little bit on the overall leaderboard. From the 10th spot, Falcons just launched themselves into the top 3. How insane is that?
দেখছস আমি কইছি না R7 এই ম্যাচে কাম্বো গায় লাইছে পয়েন্ট দেখছস
1 being pushed down to 7.
21
And it seems like the East is just catching up. Like if you even up the numbers, if you average all the numbers, it seems
তিনটা
like
ম্যাচের
it's
পর একটু বিরতি
just
দিছে
equal between the East and the
19টা
West
10
right now,
স্টার্ট
because
হইব
they just know how to get things, turn things around, especially for those at the top of the leaderboard. And AG Global consistency.
ওদের এখানে 19টা 10
We've seen the change from Southeast Asia fall, and now it's still following through. Yes, they didn't get. They only
আমগানে 5টা 2 বাজে বর্তমানে
from Alpine, but when Purgatory happens,
সাড়ে
they got
5টায়
18 and then a 20, and it seems like it will keep growing towards the end of the day.
Yeah, and the move to
5টা 52 বাজে
you away from, calling the in-game maneuvers, I think is a huge deal, right? Because usually there's just too much of responsibility on his shoulders. He can't really focus on being the best sniper out there as the in-game leader. But now I guess he can focus a little bit better, and the rest of the team members kind of feel more comfortable on
কালারি
those
ম্যাচ শেষ
rotations
হইতে
as well.
কতক্ষণ একটা ম্যাচ খেলতে 20 মিনিট টাইম লাগে 18টা 18:40 আধা ঘন্টা পরে স্টার্ট হইব
AG Global up onto the very top. But the team stats of the team that just walked away with a 29-pointer booyah. They've got the Chrono, Skylar, Oscar, Tatsuya on the combo here, Neptune.
Yeah, well, loving how both On Fire and Pina is prioritizing on not only being beefed up, especially with Pina, but also with the healing the teammates. Yes, they have the team booster in play, but they can back it up with a passive skill with Olivia in play. So it's not just On Fire. Focusing on being the support, Pina will be there as well, and this helps quite well when you go with that 2-2 split. I mean, you can have Limited 7 from behind as a sniper, and then that would push Pina in the middle to who can move front and back just in case needed, giving more opportunity for Guerrero and On Fire to be in front line.
And it's important to note as well that they play a double Olivia and a double Shani. It's all about the recovery. It's all about getting an extra layer of shield points on yourself through that Shani. And Olivia just spreading out all of that healing capabilities. This is what keeps Falcons in the fight, especially when it gets a little bit heated out there in that final engagement. These passive skills definitely came in clutch for the squad, with Pina walking away with a total of 7 eliminations. Can you believe that, man? I mean, this was a great game overall for the team. But when it comes to the assist, On Fire and Limit just continuously pummeling these players with a lot of those shots, and Limit walking away with a total of 3,861 damage. And I mean, no surprises there. As the sniper of the squad, this guy is lethal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen him dominate the game, especially in Southeast Asia region, and it's just a statement that he is bringing up onto, I would say, MT7, because MT7 is one of the best snipers, and that is what Team Falcons need right now. That's one reason why they acquired Limit X7.
Yeah.
And at this point, with the progression that Team Falcons and Limit X7 has shown, they are a good contender against the defending champion. So going back, Limit X7, the sniper, AWM in hand, Skylar, Moko, Maro, and Suzy, similar to what we've seen some of the players did, like MT7 used earlier, but tactical market to give them a little bit more options in getting more of the utilities into play.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt at all. And of course, you've got the Moko-Maro combination here, dropping out the Raphael from the mix of the sniper build and picking the Suzy instead for the extra coins, because we have seen Limit sometimes double down as the support player of the squad in charge of hitting those revives. So having the Moko combination on Suzy, marking up those players, getting the extra coins off of that as well, surely gives him the extra advantage when it comes to the resources in the game through those free fire coins. 4 eliminations, not the craziest number that we've seen so far. In fact, some of the other team members in his squad do have more eliminations, but the damage is just ridiculous, and the impact that Limit brought into this game overall was just absolutely perfect. Now, let's take a little bit of a peek here as well into the circle analysis, Neptune, because in Circle 1, there was so much of chaos, and Movistar R7 had a great start to that circle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they just stuck to there in the sub, but I was taking a peek of Team Falcons. I mean, they moved into northeast and then rotated on the edge of northwest before they headed south into the final circle. And we did see that initial run when that shift to the circle moved on, but I thought I was expecting R7 to make that move to take down Team Falcons. It's a good thing that Team Falcons had great cover to deal with AG and then turn their position or their attention to Movistar R7.
And look at the number of squads still alive and kicking up until circle number 6, right? This was just unbelievable. I mean, it's Kalahari. Yes, you've got a lot of elevations there, so you can kind of layer squads into a small little compound. But it was just too many in that final circle for sure. And Circle 7, when the zone started to move away, that was where Falcons had the greatest of advantage, because they were in the best spot. Circle said, you know what, Falcons, I want to smile at you a little bit today. Extra advantage to Falcons, and the dual champions of Southeast Asia managed to use that advantage and pull away the booyah. But it wouldn't have been possible without the support of Movistar R7. Movistar R7 helped Falcons take AG Global out of the equation, and AG had, I dare argue, the best position to fight against these two there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have the higher ground, but the circle is against them, pushing them onto Movistar R7. But let's see, though, on what happened to the game through the highlight. And I want to see more of these engagement to favor Red Hawks, because it seems like, again, they're sticking to the same problem, same mistake. They've spent so much time in Mammoth, they tried to push through in the sub, and they're still taking the area wherein the number of crosshairs are on them, instead of rotating quite far, similar to what we've seen Team Falcons has done. But I guess to it, each their own, and hopefully they'll be able to find their way later on.
I mean, no doubt at all. I think this was that moment, right? Great time turner from the side of Movistar's R7, and great teamwork between R7 and Falcons to take AG out of the equation. But in a fair 4v4 fight, that's where the biggest of difference came to be, because of the passive skill combination of this team from the East. Falcons just focusing more on the recovery and the shields, and that just gives them the extra layer of confidence to rush in at their opponents. Movistar R7 just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, Definitely. I mean, that's one thing that they need to consider as well, and hopefully they can make that adjustment before this next game. Because yes, we're done with 3 matches already. We are up to see the remaining 3, and I believe the next map would be in Bermuda, where you know that it might be slow, even more chaotic towards the final circle because of the over familiarity of everyone in this map.
Yeah, I have not been getting my hot drops. I think we will find it in the next map. Bermuda is where everybody's comfortable and they kind of don't want to let go of their, preferred drop spots. I'm expecting the ego to play a little bit more here. Many teams think that they are dominators on this map, so I want to see them take a little bit of action towards those feelings, right? Get out there, get a few aggressive engagements, but yeah, again, easier said than done on a stage like this. I do expect, of course, although I say that, to see a little bit of, passive plays out there as well, because teams who have started aggressive haven't really fared that well.
Yeah, let's see though on how well they can change things around. But, well, halfway through into the day, and it seems like a lot has happened already. But we will see a lot more later on as we go in for a little bit of content before we get into the continue of the game.
The battlefield of Free Fire is evolving once again. OB521 isn't just another update, it's a full-on meta shift. Loadouts redefined, arsenals upgraded, and the rules of revival rewritten. This is the new landscape every FFWS finalist must adapt to, or be left behind. Let's break down the ultimate game changer, Loadout 3.0. The shift from solo gear to team economy is absolute. Enhance Hammer lets you instantly upgrade a teammate's weapon. One red tier gun can determine who wins that early scramble. Tactical Market introduces Bolt Maker zones for smart control, and the Super Leg Pocket combines essential survival items into one resilient tool. The old meta is dead. Coordination is king.
Triple kill.
This meta was practically built for the aggressive roaming giants. Teams like RRQ and Buriram United thrive on early momentum, and now they have 0 excuses. The weapon rack guarantees a gun off the drop, and the Enhance Hammer ensures their first rush hits lethally hard. They will dominate the kill point race, setting the pace for the entire lobby. But the mid-game masters, the teams that are start safe but always ready for combat like Fluxo and R7, get their own safety nets. The Super Revival Point allows for riskier mid-game fights because a revived ally returns with a much better chance to stabilize. They can leverage the gold accumulated from safe rotations into the upgradable arsenal, ensuring their late-game inventory is overwhelmingly superior. Now, let's talk defense. Survival-focused squads like Heavy gain endurance from the Super Leg Pocket and new glue mushrooms that add healing to their fortifications. But there is a massive counter. The new character Nero is the ultimate anti-fortification tool. His skill generates a field that prevents all glue wall placement and drains health inside. This is the new key to breaking up stubborn late-game holds. Survival teams must adapt or they'll be defenseless. In Loadout 3.0, the Team Booster stands out as the most strategic upgrade. It will be a must-have item for all teams. Each Team Booster user can choose up to 3 of 6 buffs, with the first slot being free and the next 2 being unlocked with coins. These buffs can increase healing, movement, or team coordination, making the team economy a key part of mid-game planning and opening up a myriad of new gameplay combinations. Commanding concluding. So who benefits most? While every playstyle gains a new tool, the pure early game consistency provided by the weapon rack and the Enhance Hammer turbocharges the aggressive approach. Our final take? RRQ and Buriram United are best poised to ride this acceleration to the top. They'll dominate early kills, and the new resilience tools will secure their late game push. Get ready for an FFWS Grand Finals where the early birds definitely catch the win. What's your prediction for the FFWS Grand Finals? Let us know in the comments below, and don't miss the action.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Room of Pressure. First Doubts and Burn Bright. Right next to me, we have two candidates from the Vietnam region. Here is Kabi from Heavy, and this is the Kui from WAG. So let's have a little chit chat with me right now. All right, so we will start with the Wii first. All right, so during the media's day, a lot of teams saying that Vietnamese teams here is just like the fillers to the tournament. Only one or two teams will make it to the grand finals. So how do you think about this? Xin chào Tê Quý, thì đến với câu hỏi đầu tiên là ở trong nghề làm media của chúng ta thì có rất là nhiều đội tuyển khác bảo rằng là những đội tuyển Việt Nam ngày hôm nay có mặt ở chung kết thế giới lần này tại Jakarta thì giống như là chỉ là tô điểm thêm thôi, chứ cao lắm là sẽ có đến 1 tới 2 đội có thể tham gia vào chung kết. Thì bạn nghĩ như thế nào về ý kiến này?
Theo em nghĩ thì Việt Nam mùa này chắc cả 4 đội vào chung kết luôn nha.
Và đâu ra mà chúng ta có được một cái sự tự tin đến như thế, 4 đội Việt Nam, bởi vì đó là một con số chiếm cũng khá là nhiều đấy ạ.
Đây là lần đầu tiên trong lịch sử FIFA Việt Nam có 4 đội đi tham dự giải thế giới à.
Alright, so for the translation, the Quý said that no, I think there will be 4 Vietnamese team can qualify to the grand finals because this is the first time in history Vietnamese can having such a crowded places like that in the grand finals. So we do believe that we have the power to all of us qualify to the grand finals. To our next question will be Khabi. So as we can see, the Vietnam region right now has the most dominating teams in the global finals this time in Jakarta. So do you feel pressure, tired, stressful, or even this is your motivation to push up you further? Bởi vì đến với chung kết thế giới lần này, khu vực Việt Nam chính là khu vực có nhiều đội tuyển góp mặt nhất. Thì không biết là Khabi có cảm thấy bị áp lực khi mà có nhiều đội dòm ngó đến hay không? Hay đây là một cái động lực để cho mình thúc đẩy đi xa hơn vậy ạ?
Em nghĩ là không áp lực bất cứ điều gì hết.
So for him, he said, I don't feel any pressure because it's really easy to understand. Heavy achieved their second place in the Free Fire World Series fall last time in the grand finals, and they did a very good job. So maybe that's why they are hunger more for the victory. It's really easy to understand. Vietnamese region is not a place that you can bully at all, and I'm so proud of them today. This is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for listening, and let's heads out.
Welcome back, survivors. I don't know what was that, Yunsu, but you know, I have received whatever you threw at me. This is the best start that we have had to our global finals, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the action, and for some of these squads, the disaster, right? You're here with the Mustachio and Neptune, your casters for the day, and for the time being, it's still leaning towards the West when it comes to the Booyah victories. Falcons pulling one back for the East, but it almost went to the West yet again, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. But in terms of numbers, in terms of points, it seems like it is balanced because AG Global did manage to put themselves in #1 spot. But that would depend on how well they can treat it. Would it continue on with their consistency, or will they falter after this, similar to what we've seen Team Fluxo? Because Fluxo, they got that first Booyah and then fell down in 7th place after 3 games.
Yeah, and of course, Falcons climbing up from a 10th spot all the way into #3 after just one good game. The previous 2 games where Fluxo and Team Solid took their victories, they only scored 5 points average per match, which was really not like Falcons at all. And we have to remember, both you and I predicted that Falcons were going to be #1 by the end of the day. It wasn't looking good after the first 2 games. But of course, with Falcons finding the recovery on game 3 here, you know exactly what your casters are expecting. More of that Falcon flying high. But is that going to be easy? Is that going to be possible? Will the West allow the East to steal away their great start to the day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another contender would be Team Solid, who is doing quite well. After getting that Booyah, they managed to survive a little bit longer, especially in Kalahari. But the only question is, will they be able to do it in Bermuda? Because it seems that other teams might be able to take advantage of this map, the familiarity that they have in this map, to be able to get more points. Looking at the map performance of Team Solid from the previous tournaments, like the qualifiers onto this, Bermuda is not their first pick. They're not their top choice in terms of elimination as well as total points per match. So hopefully that changed this time around.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. I think we have got some of the teams here who are very nervous, right? Yes, we do praise Vietnam for coming out of the gates very confident and capable, but very specifically, that's only going towards heavy and PE sports.
Yeah.
GOW and WAG, on the other hand, have been taking a severe beating game after game after game. And you see WAG down at the bottom, and this is the most popular team out of Vietnam. When it comes to the fan base, when it comes to their social media skills, they are absolutely killing it. And sometimes when WAG does get activated out there, they do very well. But just today doesn't seem to be that day. WAG has not been able to play that recovery, and alongside them, GOW has been doing quite badly as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, to the delight of the Red Hawk fans, Red Hawks doing slightly better than these two teams that I just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of WAG, first off, in Alpine, they were taken down by Fluxo. And then, once we go into the next map, they were eliminated by Team Heavy, the same team from the same region. And then we saw earlier in Kalahari that they were eliminated by AG Global, their rival, I would say, in most instances than not, in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I mean, it just isn't faring well for them. And out of the West, we do have one team that is struggling, and that is Movistar R7. This time round, in that previous game that you just saw at Kalahari, was their recovery play. They got close, but not close enough. Unfortunately, they had to get taken down. Falcons ripped it away, but that was a decent recovery for them, right?
Yeah.
Or else they would still be somewhere down in the depths beside GOW as well as WAG. Fluxo, after a great start, has been dropping down quite drastically. This is a surprise because it was a 29-pointer bomber. And after that, collectively in the past two games, they've only collected 3 points.
It was just a bummer. It was just a bummer after that 29 points bummer. But I mean, it's depending on probably because of the progression of some of the teams right here. Because we've seen that they were slow in the beginning, and that's where Team Fluxo took advantage. But it's fortunate for them, they couldn't adapt to what the other teams, the other region can bring into the game. So hopefully this is a saving grace for them going in Bermuda, wherein I can't stress enough on how familiar everyone is, but the worry is earlier we've seen in the game a Circle 6 wherein a lot of teams are still surviving. The same might happen in Bermuda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see that again. But at the same time, I want to see that again. There's so much of chaos, so much of confusion, because it's just no way to really confirm your rotations in that situation, which is why I really love what Movistar did in the final bout. But early on here, we see a battle between WAG as well as Red Hawks, and Movistar R7 has caught sight of this action, and they want a piece of it as well.
Oh, let's see though. I mean, who's going to survive that? And again, another unfortunate event if in case Red Hawks fail, because if they can eliminate the first contender, then they need to move out. That's the first condition that they need to do. Otherwise, that would be lost for them. Blade though, going on a 1v1 against Games King. Hacks has been taken down, and let's see if they'll be able to recover. Flicker a little bit delayed in the action. AC-80 with the Bison in hand, and Della just jumps with the G36, moving in, flying in like a G6 at that point. 2 elimination already for R7, courtesy of Red Hawk.
Yeah, and Team Solid now meeting Buriram very early on. Wasana just runs through Hack, pulls out a time turner. Team Solid player still alive and kicking up on his feet. Get high, gets caught, but they pull out their own time turner to protect themselves from those shots. Wasana, backstab, Hack, level 3 MP5 in hand, and they're running circles around the players of Buriram, but that's not going to be easy, as Get High has an MP5 as well, and he's not afraid to use it. But the battle ain't over just yet for Buriram. They have to be careful. GOW drops by to say hello.
Hell, let's see though if GOW can put in some damage. But speaking of damage, it has been healed by Red Hawks as 2 of their players has been revived. But unfortunately, Nejad will be taken down. For Jonah, he is healing up. Rip is already down. And there goes the combination of Jonah and Moshi before picking him up. He managed to bring Wasana back, and they're a full squad once again.
Yeah, this is a beautiful play from Captain Jonah, making sure to prioritize the revival before the pickup. And obviously, that'll keep the team surviving a little bit longer if in any case the battle does go south. But they do manage to overcome the pressure the GOW brings in here. Demon has a great gun, but up against two players. Demon still gets the headshot onto Moshi. Unbelievable. But unfortunately, the numbers still playing against him. GOW picked on the wrong squad this time around, but they did manage to play their own recovery through those revives as well. So they'll still be in this match.
Yeah, let's see though on how long they will stay. As for GOW, DN is receiving a lot of pressure, and E1 Sports getting their first elimination at this point. It's a good thing that one player managed to get away and in time, because there's two more left for GOW, and they don't want to risk being eliminated early at this point. Currently, they are in 11th spot, and they don't want to be pushed down. So they need to be passive and get away from a lot of engagement. It's still early, first and second phase. There's still plenty of room to wiggle.
And only one team lost in the sauce at this point of time on this Bermuda map. Unfortunate for Team Solid, their performance this time was not as solid as they would have liked it to be, and they just pull a Fluxo on us because they climbed to at least close to the top, just 2 points behind AG Global. They falter badly in this Bermuda opener, and so a single point they picked up before getting eliminated, so not much to smile about. Limit almost got that one ESK, but the connection on the follow-up is solid. The rest of the players on the side of Falcons, though, flanking in. They want the fight, and they want PE Sports out of this lobby. They want the points off of them in their pockets. Grenade from the side of PE, flying straight towards the players on the side of Falcons. Is that a frag or a glue wall melter? We'll have to wait and see, but Pina's already the side! And on fire, finds the connecting with the Winchester, and they rush on in to shut down the rest of the PE players. Pina now with the fight. Falcons annihilating PE Sports.
I love that Bison is back in play as a metal weapon, and a lot of players has been utilizing the fire rate of this gun. But allow move away, but he is on the crosshair. He is on map right now because the hit list is on him. So he wouldn't be able to get away that easily, but with the amount of coins he has, he will be able to bring back the rest of the team. So, well, valiant effort for him. He will survive, and the rest of the teams can fly away far from that area to survive long.
Yeah, he just told his team members, don't worry guys, you guys can get eliminated again. I can revive all of y'all again. No issues. This one have coins.
You have coins up until the next lobby.
This one's on me. Don't worry. All you can revive buffet. WAG. Now, oh my lord. He quit with at the highest 50 of all guns. Taking hacks out of the equation here, and Movistar backing away from WAG, who has scored 6 points already. That's a great start for Vietnam and for the team that's literally dead at the bottom in the 12th spot.
And let's see on how long they can go at this point for Bremen United. 8 elimination already, especially with Carnage at peak that we've seen earlier. And they are moving away. But for T-Koi managed to take down Della, increasing the 8 points that they already have, or the 6 point rather, that they already have. And there's still more to spare for R7 if in case WAG managed to spot them. But Launchpad is available. They can either move in to where the gunshots are, or they can just choose to stay at the edge. And they can be safe. GOW are the only contenders in their way.
Yeah, since we've slowed down the pace here a little bit, I just want to say, because I'm looking at the comment section on this YouTube page here, our official esports YouTube page, to be specific, I see a lot of trash talk from the other regions up against Red Hawks. We have to remember, at one point of time, that used to be Vietnam. You know, we had teams like Team Flash, and they were just bottom feeders. They could do nothing in these lobbies, but they were teased, they were challenged, and this is what they're doing. So you guys can make fun of Red Hawks, but you better be careful what you say, because the comeback is going to be sweet out of Bangladesh eventually. But for now, put it up. Getting a couple of claps here. AG Global caught out Barros. What a nade. Sent towards Moshi. The Steffi was popped, but all of those players outside of the Steffi circle Yet another nade tossed on in. Doesn't find anyone from the side of Buriram. They all flank around from the left-hand side, looking for the reposition. Osana up against Team SR could be a possibility here, but Buriram pulling a U-turn as they do not want to get stuck in an open fight up against AG Global. They retract and looking for the retreat out of the compound, looking for the safer side of things instead of a all-out battle up against AG so early.
Yeah, again, the plan for Brave United is to end an engagement quickly, and if they cannot pull that off, they just move away. And it's a good thing that they pull away as well, because in a bit, Ju will be coming back, and because the area was clear where he falter or we fall down, he will be gathering his resources once again. But let's see if E1 will be able to take down Movistar R7 and Bimasaki Strip. Though the hit list is on Lion, but they're not afraid to move out in the open because they do have the weaponry to play with.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, we feel bad for Team Solid, but they've already picked up some solid points for themselves, pun intended, to make that mistake in this Bermuda map. So 2 more games to go. Nothing's going to stop them from aiming for the #1 spot by the end of the day. E1 Sports, on the other hand, they are doing fairly well for the East, aren't they? In the 4th spot right now, quite decently average with eliminations. Not the best, but they are up there with the rest, right? So that's good enough for them. But what's more important about E1 is the placement points. They seem to be able to maneuver themselves around in towards these final circles very efficiently now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they are just playing with the basics. Survivability is one of the basics of Battle Royale, and that is what they're trying to do. If in case they go in for the fight, lose a few players, they move away that quickly, but it's not the case for GOW. Despite of them moving away, they drop into the open, into the sights of Team Falcons, and Riptide Rhythm, despite of a few of those shots, it doesn't break down those glue walls. GOW right now will try to fire back, but 2 against 4 from Team Falcons is not enough. So they need to revive their teammates or probably make a way to where Rip is, because it seems like that area on the left is a little bit safer. But Guerrero says, no, I'm going to gun you down.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons focusing on GOW, but here's the thing. You have got WAG in the vicinity, on fire, might stop them out, or... Yep, he definitely sees them. Takes the rotation straight up towards them, but I think that was a little ballsy of on fire, because he could have gotten clipped right there and then in itself, but WAG doesn't take the first shot here. They will choose to retreat from this battle. Both teams outside the circle, tanking the damage from the blue. Of course, it's not too hurtful at this point of time, but it will eventually start clipping you just enough. Grenades, courtesy of WAG, and now they move on in. Tikui and 590 first does not find the connection, but the second shot does manage to get the clip. Demon brings in Diane as GOW looks for the recovery. In the meantime, Tororo found, export traded. Vanvo has to turn around, looking for the pickup as well. Time turner pulled out by On Fire. Tikui gets away with the Valiant dash, pulled out defensively, catches up with On Fire as well. WAG just with 2 more players on their side, looking for the shutdown, taking On Fire out of the equation so nobody else can get picked up. And now, Pina, what will you do? Electrotherapy has its connection here. And Tikui with the grenade, just making sure Pina does not catch up with them.
Yeah, what Pina would be planning right now is to pull them away into the open so that Limit will be able to, will be picked up. But it seems like Limit is already in the ground and managed to move away. But unfortunate for Tikui, couldn't recover that quickly. Let's see if the pickup can be done by PLS1, 3rd to the 4th phase. This is going to hurt, and I don't think they have enough on the team booster to be able to heal them.
Yeah, Pina just gave up on that fight a little bit too early. He had a great opportunity to pick up Limit and turn things around. But of course, you know, we can't blame him for making that decision. They just didn't want to take any chances. And now a battle between Red Hawks and PE Sports. PE Sports inside the assault bunker. They've got the better weapons, highly probable situation here. Now, Monster Truck pulled out as a defense on the right-hand side. You can see the glue wall UAV coming up as well. But GOW could just serve to be that threat that takes Redhawks out of this equation now, because as they rotate in, they've got a great line of sight. And from the right-hand side, Fluxo rotating in as well, looking for the circle. Redhawks in a lot of trouble. How do they deal with this?
At this moment, this is where I'm hoping the teams are
So-
using Nero's Cryo
Fluxo
Mine.
bagat
Because
gorai
PE Sports is stuck in there.
Nah, Fluxo
If
lagi
you use
jilax.
that plushie, if you have Cryo Mine, they will chip in the damage on there, and they couldn't even put in so glue walls. But before anything else, let's head into Team Fluxo against AG Global. AG Global managing to survive a little bit and defending 45.
RHK record down, PE duda down. RHK player heal, PE.
Managed to pull out an M79. It seems like AG Global is out.
Yeah, AG Global, number 1 on the leaderboard right now, snuffed out. Redhawks got a little lucky here as Falcons took the right-hand side rotation instead, allowing Redhawks now to find the connection up against PE Sport. Nejat with the knock, but the recovery with a double, triple, quadruple glue wall to protect and pick Lauho right back up. And GOW joins the fight as anticipated. They take the fight straight up to Redhawks. Kutush gets knocked down to the ground. Nejat trying to play the game of recovery, pulls out the time turner, hops into the monster truck, tries to drive away. But the monster truck super slow, and PE Sport will help out Redhawks with the distraction. Buddy gets away, and a civil war breaks out between PE and GOW.
Oh, Redhawks still alive, but heading into Team Heavy, and unfortunately, Don't Cry hits him with an AC-80. Valiant effort, but it took a little bit more time for them to take PE Sports down, giving time for GOW to push, and they managed to take down both. Only Lauho remains out of PE Sports, but the next contender would be Heavy, and civil war continues.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's unfortunate for Redhawks because they should have been a little bit faster on that engagement. They should have just rushed into PE Sports. You know, like you pointed out, if they had the narrow, could have been a little bit more easier. But even without, they just needed to take the decision, because standing outside the assault bunker in a circle like this, just a terrible idea. And GOW made them pay big time for the decision that they made. Fluxo, on the other hand, circling around, taking AG Global out of the equation to take their defensive spot, as well as a great position for this next circle. This is big brain play coming in for the Western squad, and we have got 3 of them here from the side of the West.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, E1 might be taking R7, but it seems like the movement is prioritizing in the next phase of the circle. Heavy though, taking heavy damage from both sides, and unfortunate for them, they couldn't survive. Now, GOW, 11 elimination already, need to deal with Team Heavy, but they need to speed up, because whoever wins between R7 and E1 would be the next contender in that fight.
Yep, E1 now has to deal with shots from all around. Fluxo focusing on them. GOW looking for the shots as well as E1 will get eliminated from the equation. Movistar R7 taking advantage of that situation, and GOW taking a fight up straight to Fluxo, but they have to be careful here. Trip mine laid out by Box, so GOW circling straight into them will be absolutely disastrous. The knock does stop Hans, and that could have just been the saving grace that Fluxo gave GOW. If they didn't get knocked by that, it would have been the trip mine, which has been a little bit more disastrous. Now, defensive spot rotation by GOW. They are now in a safer place as opposed to Team Fluxo, but the circle will move in favor of Fluxo. Movistar R7 might take the fight up to them next.
Hell, let's see though if Movistar R7 moves left for Fluxo or right for GOW, but either way, it would be happening in a few seconds, and it seems like Team Fluxo has a lot of attention from both teams. Buff's already down, MT7 is out, and the team's left to Budastin, who has nowhere to go. Supermed in hand, would there be enough for him to recover, or will he be taken by the blue? But given the fact that GOW has more numbers than R7, it seems like the East might be getting a booyah in this point.
Yeah, the East looking for one back here to play a 50-50. GOW, a 4 versus 2. Movistar R7, you gotta respect the recovery. Games King with the FGL shots up against the glue wall of GOW, but this is not gonna deter them at all. GOW knows that they do have the advantage here. Games King runs out all alone. Joker trying to back him up with the VSK from afar. RIP. The flag from the left could instantly put an end to Joker here. But GOW not taking any chances whatsoever, and Joker with his position does manage to get the knockdown onto Demon. Eliminated instantly. The Steffi does get popped, Gameskin gets dropped, and now it's a 3v1 up against Joker.
3v1, a dream has been used. Let's see if Joker can survive, but the onslaught is on. GOW going for that booyah.
How amazing was that? GOW from the 11th spot managing to conquer this map of Bermuda. Massive eliminations, great positioning, great decision making, and they were not taken on chump squads. They were taken on some of the best from the West, and they still carried the East to the top.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, GOW, a comeback is real for this team. And you did point it out, coming from 11th spot, followed by WAG. And, well, seems like Vietnam is making a statement at this point. Earlier it was Heavy. Now it's GOW. PE Sports, yes, they are on like the half or midway of the leaderboard, but survivability is not yet on them. So, 2 out of 4 already from Vietnam had show up, and hopefully this continue for GOW. Otherwise, the curse might still be the same. Every time they get the booyah, they falter next game.
Yeah, true enough, man. But I again want to stress, this is what Bangladesh needs to look at. This is the nation that Bangladesh needs to look at as inspiration. There was one point of time Vietnam was only feeders on the global stage. They could barely survive long enough to get into the grand finals. The Flames were disastrous in the past. But look at them flying around, dominating not with one but multiple squads out there. Yes, they all started from the bottom, but this is the hustle, and this is what happens when you never ever give up, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, never give up. Make sure that you improve better than yourself from yesterday. That is what the team is showing right now, and Heavy has been one of the motivation from all. Well, the storyline is PE Sports was the first, and then everyone followed through. And now that Heavy is showing up, everyone is getting a lot of those energy.
Discord sound is the copyright na
and in different country,
আমার ডিসকর্ডের সাউন্ড দিতে কইছে আমারে কই দিছে কয় ডিসকর্ডের সাউন্ড দিয়ে দিস তোরা যে কথা কইবি তখন সাউন্ড দিতে যায়
This has been by far the most exciting global finals opener that I have ever witnessed, that I have ever shoutcasted, because of the quality of the squads in there. Even the teams that are supposedly supposed to struggle are doing really well. And we just saw a perfect example of that. How in the world did they manage to conquer this? You know, from surviving long enough to being the final team in the lobby and then walking away with to get the victory. People call them bottom feeders. People call them a team that is there to fill in the slots. There's a big battle for slots here on the global finals, all right? These guys earned it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially in how they play in Southeast Asia Fall Series. I'm loving how they managed to push 4 of their teams into the global finals. And this is where the story continues. Because if they can do that in local league, they could do it in global finals. Especially, it seems like with the update, everything seems balanced all throughout. But 26 points closest to the peak that we have.
GTA তে gameplay দেখাইলে তারা কাইন্ডা দিবি
Take it away from them that they're slowly moving up.
Yeah, I think it was a huge jump.
বা আমি নিজে আরপি করি আমার নিজে GTA কিনা আমি আরপি করি তোর ইয়ের সার্ভারে ইয়ের সার্ভারে আমি আরপি করি হালকা করিবে করছি জিআরপি তে করছি বিডি প্রাইডে করছি পরে বিপিআর এ করছি বিপিআর এ করছি
But you know, in a lobby like
Black
this,
Dragons.
there's that eventuality. Even the best of the best will sometimes end up at the bottom. That just happens to be the case this time.
GRB
around.
the Black Dragons
struggling. We are not going to have hold it too hard.
Legacy to
It's still one of their debut into the international stage. So we're going to give them
Legacy
some time to rise up to the top.
নিজের গ্যাং রান করতে চাইছিলাম মাঝখানে বিপিআরটা লঞ্চ করাতে পোলাবেন গেছে বিপিআর এ পরে আর লঞ্চ না করা পরে ইয়ের মধ্যে ঢুকতে চাইছিলাম কি যে ইসে আরে বাগতে
tied.
বাগসে
with the
পরিচিত
Force
ছিল।
who moved up. The same goes with
বাগসে কয়দিন
Flexo.
করছে আমার গাড়িও আছে
Flexo,
আমি এখন
they
আর
were
ঢুকি না
7 if I'm not mistaken, and then they catapulted themselves on there because of the position that they've taken.
লেগেছি
But
তো ভালো হয় না।
ultimately, they couldn't survive any longer than they are intending to. But Brim United still on top 4, so there's still hope for
সবথেকে
the
মজা
team
পাইছি
coming
BPR এ
from
কইরা।
the east right now, but it seems like the top
কারণ
board
BPR এর
would be
toxicity হয়তো
dominated by
দেখে ভালো লাগে।
mostly- the top 3 would be mostly by the west. But going into the team stats of GOW,
না বিপিআর এ
one of the teams
মনে করো টক্সিসিটি
that has
মনে করো
brought in
মানে
the Nero
থাকে
in
থাকে
this
করানো
game.
যায়
And I didn't see that much of the Nero, especially in the final moment where they can
মানে ফাঁকে
use
থাকে করানো
that
যায়
skill
বুঝো নাই
to take down the final one of the players.
যখন মাথার উপরে না ঘুরে
I'm seeing so much hope in using that skill right now, especially for those who are just hiding out in the corners.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think we haven't seen the best use of Nero just yet. But I really like the lineup of active
ভাই
skills here. You've
তোরা
got
এই
the
বালের
Steffi
গেম
off
বাদ দা
the
ভাই
Coda
গেমটার এনজয়
Nero
কর ভাই
combo.
সেই মজা পাইতাছি
Even Coda, you
ফ্যালকন
don't really see
মার
that
খায় আর
use
মার
too
দে
often
মার
by
খায় আর
one
মার
of
দে
both squads.
এক মজা
But
মার খায় এক মজা মার দে এক মজা মার খায় এক মজা মার দে
is, and with the extra bit of information on their side, usually they are able to survive a little bit longer. Even if you look at their passive skills, look at the stack of Shani as well as Olivia coming on through here. They're really focusing on the defense, really focusing on the recovery as well, focusing on bringing in Susie, extra coins, just to recover, just to revive their players when things do go south. And I think all of those elements came in perfect for GOW to score the victory this time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a total of 14 elimination, and most of it is coming from hands.
তোরা টক্সিসিটি কি করছো সেই দেখ আমরা কি করছি দেখ
The damage
Skin share.
is almost even for everyone. Everyone has put in their
Ganta match.
hands into getting
Kira, আমার
this
server
win.
ওইটা
I'm
কো?
loving this version of GOW, but hopefully it continues because it might be map specific. Going into Bermuda, everyone's familiar with it, but GOW has stick to their plans to survive compared to the others who focus on other maps as
এই দেখ,
well. But let's see
তোরা
now on
টক্সিসিটি
what
কি করছস আমরা তার দ্বিগুণ
has
করছিলাম
in store for us in terms of weapon. It is an
এই দেখ, এই দেখ।
M590, and
এই
what a
দেখ।
better use of this gun, especially if you have a little bit of strength plus the healing factor of Olivia, and you can put the Steffi in just to get away from all those throwables.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really like the fact that he actually has the Rocky
Kunda,
in
edare,
here as
edare,
well.
edare.
A reduced cooldown for the active skills, and I think this is perfect because Steffi is integral for this particular
Iye
meta.
go marsilam.
You need to block out all
Police
of those
dire.
beetles.
Are
There are a
bentara
lot of
maar.
the M79s out
Gari
there, a lot of
dilam.
those frag grenades that you have to deal with in the final circle. So this is a very smart approach coming through from Hans. Very rare. And I think
Ora
GOW
khali
has
mairi
really
hetu.
thought this out very well because the meta is not necessarily the best for your squad based on your
সব
play
থেকে
style.
বেশি মাইর খায়
And I
দাম
think
করতে Alien
GOW is
50
one of those squads
বেনতারা মাইর
where
খেত
really experimented and understood that, and they're playing this to their advantage. And I really like the fact that
ভাই
they have
করা ম্যাচ গেছে
recovered
ভাই করা
with
ম্যাচ
this
হইতাছে
one
তোরা
game
যারা
alone.
দেখতাছস
But
না
I have
প্রচুর
to
মিস
say, we
করতাছস
did take a peek at the overall standings earlier, and it's insane. Neptune.
Trust me,
We
bhai.
have the first two teams
প্রচুর
on 50
করা ম্যাচ
points.
গেছে
The third and fourth team
দেখাই
with
মন
48
শান্তি
points, but
মোবাইল
that's not
প্লেয়ার
the
বলে এমনি
impressive
খেলে
part just yet.
Yeah.
The team in the 8th spot is Movistar R7, and they have 42 points. Movistar R7 from nowhere, they can jump up to the #1 spot in this next game if they just don't drop the ball. 8 teams could get that #1 spot if they just try hard in this next game.
Yeah, I mean, with all the back and forth, everyone is so close to each other that someone else out of that list would be able to move up. But looking at a circle analysis right now, seeing how GOW just
hello,
keep the
hello, bhai,
edge
tomar-
and making sure that they have a great cover as well. Even in final circle, we don't see that on the highlights. In
ভাই শোনো
they took advantage
এখন আমি একটা কথা
of
বলি
their
এখন আমি একটা
position,
কথা বলি
not
তোমারে যদি এই চুপ 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 তোমারে যদি আমি হে
Fluxo,
মারে ছেড়ে দিই
and that's
তুমি কি
where
করবা
they managed to
না,
push
না, আমি তো আর
Fluxo
সারাদিন তো
to be
tournament
taken
খেলি না
out,
ভাই,
to be
খেলে না
dealt
বুঝতে
with
ভাই
by
বাংলাদেশে
and then they just
অগ
dealt
বিট
with
করা
the
ভাই,
finish.
let me finish let me finish
এক্সট্রা বাজে করতেছে
let me finish
They really pop off.
বাংলাদেশে
and then everything follows
অগ বিট করার মতো টিম
And
নাই
you can see the gap in circle 2
বাংলাদেশে
and
এমন
3.
প্লেয়ার নাই
Not so much of
যেটা
engagement.
ব্রাজিলে
That
আছে
is just
যেটা
slow
ইন্দোতে
down
আছে
for
যেটা মনে করো
everyone
যে
in this
অন্যান্য কান্ট্রিতে আছে
I mean, so again, to
বাংলাদেশে
put it into
ফ্রি ফায়ার
context,
হাইপ হ্যাঁ
AG Global is
বাট
at the top
ছাপড়ি
of
দিয়া হাইপ
leaderboard, followed by E1. But Fluxo, Buriram, Falcons,
ফ্রি ফায়ার হাইপ
Team Solid,
প্রচুর হাইপ
Movistar,
কিন্তু
R7
ছাপড়ি দিয়া
are all in contention at the
ওরা
same
যে
time for the
ওরকম
number
ওরা
one
যদি
spot.
এরকম মারে
This is what
বেশি না
he
এক
means
মাস খেলে
by
না
this is the most
এতটুকু
balanced
কইতাম পারে
that we
ওরা
have
এনে বিট
ever
করবো
seen. The game state as well as the professional players out there and the squads. We have never seen a global finals that is this
ভাই
close in the
কিচ্ছু
past.
করার না ভাই লেট মি ফিনিশ তুমি দেখো এখানে এখানে ভালো ভালো টিম
With this performance, they will be able to ease the
এখানে
pressure
ভালো
because
ভালো
from earlier,
টিমেরাই
we've seen
চান্স
the
পাইতাছে না
pressure. There's a
ফ্যালকন
lot of
দেখো
things that they need to
ফ্লুক্সকো
think
টিম
about
দেখো
going into this battle, going into this
R7
match.
দেখো
And
R7 প্রথম
this is
3 ম্যাচে কি
something
করছে
that are,
নামছে আর মরছে
like game style and mechanical skills.
আর
can be done
লাস্টের
with practice.
লাস্টের 2
But
ম্যাচে
in reality,
R7 কি করছে এক ম্যাচে টপ 2 আর এক ম্যাচে টপ 3
a lot of team is very difficult to deal with. So
Nah,
hopefully
next match
that's
শুরু হবে।
something that we can hear as well on how the team is going to deal with those pressure. But before we go in, let's bring it to Conchita Caroline to enter for the interview on the room of pressure.
রাইসে
Survivors, you are now live with me from the room of pressure. I'm here to give you a quick update from the 4 matches that we've seen today on the first day of the knockout stage from the Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025. As we all can see, Brazil is for sure the region to watch. Fluxo and Team Solid has claimed the first 2 booyahs. Sure, E1 has not secured a booyah, but they for sure have been hovering around the top 5 as well. And one thing is that the 3 Brazilian teams are adapting very well to the hyper early aggression meta. Here in the room of pressure, we can see some of the comments that the community has written to us about the team that are competing today. And what surprises me is that a lot of people from the community has been saying that Fluxo might crumble. Fluxo might do the same mistake that they've been doing in EWC, and they will not be proving their worth today. So now I'm asking you, survivors, what do you think? Can they push to be team of the day? Write your comments in the comment section below. But for now, let's go and see the highlights.
Well, I don't know if or not Fluxo is going to be able to prove that they are the team of the day, but the chat will definitely argue who's the host of the day. They are all absolutely in love with both of our hosts, and picking one of the two is definitely going to be a really tough choice. But of course, taking a look at the highlights here once again, GOW just pulled off a massive W on this matchup with the rotations, with the capability, even shutting down Team Heavy, being integral in the takedown of Team Redhawks as well. Decision making for this final battle especially, I am very impressed with what Vietnam has been able to do with their squads.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the slowdown that they've done, instead of pushing straight to Fluxo, they slowed down their approach. They didn't double think. They didn't doubt it. They just understand that if they push a little bit early without a zone moving in, they will be caught off guard. And that's what they played with. Fluxo was just jump into the open, into R7's away, and that's where they dealt with each other. And GOW was just chilling like a villain until that booyah. So I'm really impressed on what the GOW has done right here. Yeah. But in terms of points, it's a little bit delayed in gathering all those points. But the booyah definitely will help.
Yeah, better late than never, right? As long as GOW manages to do something out there to climb up the leaderboard, I am going to be more than happy. But you know, even if I say that down to the 8th spot, they can still contend for the #1 spot, right? Movistar R7 is currently, as you can see on your screen, as well as the team that's in the 8th spot. Right below them is GOW. They have 37 points in hand. If they do well back-to-back in these next 2 games, they can be in the top 3. It is such a close leaderboard on this day 1 opener.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 37 to 50, what AG and E1 has taken is only 13 points. Well, given the fact that both of the teams doesn't get any points, then they will be doing that easily. But I do agree. Everyone from the top from the top up until the 9th or 8th as well, even the 10th place, might be able to move up to the top 5 even after the next map, which is next era. So it's just mind-blowing. I was expecting a slow game and only a few teams who's dominating, especially with the entry that Fluxo has showed us right now, but it was just everyone's battle. First Fluxo, Team Solid, Team Falcons, and then GOW, and expect that some other team will be grabbing game number 5.
The most important thing is it's a battle between the East and the West. The West initially showing that they are here to dominate, and then the East came out the doors and said, calm down, buddy. We are here as well. Falcons and GOW making sure they represent the East overall, but it's not going to be easy because Brazil is making so much of noise out there, especially with 2 squads, E1 Sports and Fluxo. Yes, Team Solid did manage to score a booyah, but I feel like the consistency-wise, E1 and Fluxo have just been a little bit on the upper side, right? Yes, Fluxo did kind of falter in 2 games, but when they do strike, they do claim a lot of points out there to climb the leaderboard. So overall, it's balanced their performance as well as their position on the leaderboard. In fact, even if they messed up 2 of their games, they are still in the 3rd spot, which is a testament to how good Fluxo is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know how to come back. They know how to recover when needed. And that's just the champion spirit that we have right here. You can see they're still calm, no pressure at all, despite of the 2 games that they lost. So the confidence is there. The gameplay, the practice, the mental
sound
is there from the champions. The only question is who will take it away or who can beat them in those 3 aspects.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure. And now, as we take a look at it, Wasana's crying, man. Wasana's like, let me get the booyah already. Yeah, you guys better get the booyah, Buriram. I put you on my list, man. They're going to be in the top 3 by the end of this. I want them to be in the 2nd place because how nice it will be where you predict the top 3 in sequence of 1 to 3, and then it ends up just like that. Of course, it's very difficult in this lobby once again because of how good and how close these squads are to each other in capability, in style, as well as execution. But you know, sometimes people do get lucky with their predictions. And a quick fun fact here, many players, including R7 Della, Nejat from Red Hawks, as well as Cypher from AG Global, named Pina as the most underrated player at FFWS 2025. And I cannot agree more. Pina is a monster and his clutch gameplay is unbelievable. One of the good reasons why Falcons are your dual champions out of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once he get that, he will make elimination, but at least the damage would help, and that is with the the battle.
And Haradin game na khella game e dukka phadai bada. Game dala kami dibo.
Who's making way in the team?
30 second with the match start.
Even the rest of the teams, Kiroro's already taking the spotlight, and probably that's one reason why Pina has been titled as the underrated, because he helps so much on Kiroro's way to be the champions from Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what you need. Players in your squad that are capable of dominance and just carry the squad all alone. Although it's a team play overall, because you know sticky situations are always around the corner.
Yeah,
next we've got Next Terra. Yes, Mr. Wagger, cute as hell as he runs towards you. Let's kick off game number 5, baby. Give me some hot drops.
Let's see on where the hot drop will be, and if everyone is targeting Burim United, they might be
landing
museum, because like unless Burim United thinks otherwise, because I know for a fact that some teams have put a crosshair behind on the backs of Burim United, and even from earlier, we've seen them move away from their usual hot drops, especially if Team Falcon or Team Fluxo rather is involved in this play. But so far in the early parts, in the first half of the drop, no one is dropping in against each other. With Red Hawks in mud side. That would be carnage, and hopefully Red Hawks plan to plan.
RH के बस ए भाई तोर RH के फाइट देख RH के बस स्पी लाग बहन
Yeah, a quick
Landing point
shout out to our production team because I dare say this is one of the best produced Free Fire World Series competitions I have ever been a part of. I mean, look at how clean the action has been so far. And a shout out to the observers as well. No idea who is on the observers lineup, but they are doing one heck of a job capturing all of these heated battles that I do want to see out there in the game. Demon, Dian, GOW circling around. They have to be really careful because the curse of getting a booyah and then getting knocked right out in the following game has been plaguing Vietnam for a long time, and it's also been plaguing us here on day one of the global finals. They just have to be a little careful.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see though if that is
AG versus R7. AG R7. R7 একটা down. Nice.
Double factor coming from Cypher would make that blow.
ভাই AG কি খেলতাছে রে ভাই
Now let's see if AG Global can get in position because it seems like
R7 AG একটা লইছে
same way and paying for what R7 has received from AG.
Current double noise
with the distraction and the pressure allowing Joker to get the elimination onto Barros. Great flush out
there. 14 master noise ida off kor abar on kor.
Thus far,
Discord noise suppression da.
Right back in. AG Global has to be careful though.
By R7 ki position niche dekh.
Be moving straight towards AG Global. They haven't shot it out of the skies just yet. So information
gameplay.
Dui side te meri bhebo. Team SR gets tagged up. They've got them circled in, but the approach is going to be very dangerous because there's a lot of distance between AG and R7. But that can be sorted out by the jump pad. Joker now on the roof. Cypher ripped out with the breaking down.
Nice. Nice.
Wall protection by Cypher as he shuts down Games King, who flanks it from the back. Cypher still has it onto him, but the Bison will be not on his side. Cypher with a headshot off the vector. Unbelievable.
Cypher কি করলো এটা?
Yeah, let's see though. Cypher with a sliver of health and will need to be the Uzi, but unfortunately Joker breaks him down. But I love how the approach of Movistar R7.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, they are in boxing gym and they boxed out a couple of AG Global. If it wasn't for Cypher's double elimination, double knockdown, that could have been
kon ID
AG Global. Unfortunately, Battle's already down. Only one remaining for AG Global. Hopefully, they find their way.
Okay, now it's Team Solid up against Red Hawks. Kutush with Revival. Trap takes played out of the equation.
Both of are flickered down.
Of engagement here.
Flickered down.
Spots in the vicinity as well. Will steal that point at the expense of Team Red Hawks. Nejat says, no problem, brother.
Nejat আবার ফ্লিকারে নামাইছে কুট্টুসের সামনে টিএস এর 3টা নেওয়াজের সামনে 2টা
get eliminated quickly.
নেওয়াজ ব্যাক অফ করছে
looking for yet another 2 players surviving on the side of Red Hawks here. But they have to focus on the survivals. It's gonna be
E1 এর টিম এটা মাইয়া খেলতেছে
written down on the ground. The pickup is easy. Team Heavy getting cooked by E1 Sports.
Yeah, I think there's only one more player remaining for Team
Heavy.
Rings don't cry back that easily. But E1 Sports right now, good start.
মাইয়া ভালো করছে ওই ম্যাচে
number 2 or equalize with the number 1. But
ফাইটটা কিন্তু মাইয়া বের করছে
a little bit of a switch up in the past.
আমি বলো না এই মাইয়ার গেমপ্লে দেখা আমি কি রে ভাই
But for Team Flux though, well, the slowdown hopefully is done. The hiatus should have been done.
RH কে একটা এলিমিনেশন বের করছে এই ম্যাচে নাইস
their reign in the number 1 spot because they're getting very close.
ভাই কোন মতে যদি একটা ম্যাচে এই দুই ম্যাচের মধ্যে যদি RH কে একটা মধ্যে বুইয়া নেয় মনে কর বাংলাদেশে কাপাকাপি হয়ে যাবে
I didn't put them in my top 3 predictions, so I'm feeling a little bad now.
Down একটা হইছে
It happens, right? I have Red Hawks.
একটা কনফার্ম হইছে রেড হক্সের সামনে এজি
Come on Red Hawks, show me something, man. Give me a booyah.
Give me a booyah. ওরাও কইতাছে হোস্টার কাস্টাররাও কইতাছে
Especially with how they're treating it. But I'm seeing a little bit of improvement game after game. And I remember a comment as well in the global in the YouTube of Free Fire Global wherein give them a couple of years and they might be able to show up the same. I'm thinking that it might be less if they continue to improve themselves, and this is a good way for them to improve themselves. Like learn from their mistakes emulate what the other regions are doing, especially the champion regions are doing, and work on their tactics quite well. A lot of homework is needed, especially with the
Kuttu's
years of
bike lab
experience that
aktase.
has been done from both those coming in from Thailand as well as Brazil or other regions from East and West, and that is what Red Hawks need to do.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. And again, they are very new. They are
ওরা position লইতে পারতাছে না, main fact হয়ে গেছে এটা।
So it's going to take some time for
আরে
them
M79
to really wake up in the competition. I
ভাই,
mean, it took many years before
বিআর
they
ওরা
turned
কি
out to be
খেলতাছে
dominators
ভাই,
of these lobbies,
দুই তিনটা
right?
ম্যাচ
So,
ধরে।
yeah, we're going to cut them some slack for sure. I can't wait for one day India to join the fray as well. Oh, can you imagine, man? That would be explosive. But of course, speaking of explosive, nades back and forth between E1 Sports and Buriram. Frags tossed up to the top.
বুড়িরামরা ভালো খেলতাছে।
Just yet, as Buriram does not have any intention of rushing into the compound of E1 Sports. But as I say that, it looks like the mad squad is going
দিয়া
to do
দিছে,
exactly.
বিন্দা দিছে একটারে।
What a nade. Power 7 down on the ground. Vitin hops on out. Jonah's going to meet him halfway. Nobody's taking the shot.
বল দামি, নিচে আয়া একটা ডাউন বের করতে নাই।
Bottom pulls out the glue ball in the nick of time, and Jonah gets taken out of the equation because of
ওইটা
Vitin. He
ওইটা বের
has
করছে
the
আরেকটায়,
grenade launcher,
ওইটার লগে লগে
turn
আরেকটা
around,
নামছে।
and Buriram, I did not
শেষ।
expect them to make that mistake.
Yeah, it seems like also R7 is joining the party. E1 Sports
R7?
picked up that easily.
Like,
Joker
serious?
right now with Ripside Rhythm and E1 Sports
R7 হিমশিম
back on
খাইতাছে।
their feet. Recovery though needs to be fast, otherwise R7 might bring them down.
Joker
But
rush করতেছে।
I think the deed is done. The only question is, will
আরে
United
Falcon
be
শেষ,
able to
Falcon
get back
শেষ।
up? But speaking of getting back up, Team Falcons needs to get back up because
Falcon এর
WAP is
একটা
doing
member
number
বাকি।
on them.
Hey, come on, man. I mean, what was that move by Buriram? I am
ভাই
still in
আমি এই
disbelief.
এই সিরিজে এই ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ একটা জিনিস খেয়াল করলাম,
Grace, they are
বালা
still
বালা
alive
টিম
and
ডি
kicking.
হয় আগে
I was
মরে,
gonna say still alive
যেই
and
ম্যাচে
kicking,
আগে
but
মরে
they're still
এর পরের
alive and
ম্যাচে ওরা
cooking.
টপে থাকে।
Just got a double elimination off of R7, the ones that brought the interference into the battle
মারাত্মক
between
খেলতাস।
E1 and Buriram, kind of saving Buriram for a second there.
হ্যাঁ,
But the problem here is there's no vending machines around him. There's a revival platform. If he chooses to use the revival platform, E1 is just going to run at him. Buriram just made a big boo-boo, and I am not happy,
আমি কোনো
man.
voice
I
changer
thought
use
that was
করেছি
my
না।
top 3.
Let's see though. Let's see. I mean, Buriram United is not their usual way. Most of the time, they're passive in
Take
the
a box
beginning,
sword.
and then that's slowly build their way on the 10-minute mark. But this time, I think they plan to change this because of how aggressive some
Hey there.
teams are
Hey there.
showing up.
P.
And
P
let's see
ইয়ে
if this is
উপরে ভারী
something
পড়ে
that
যাবো।
they can stack up. Probably not in Nextera if they get
এটা একটা
eliminated.
বোকামি।
Probably the next map will do. But all hopes for them. The final
Nice.
survivor can bring them back up.
এই যেটা বোকা আমি কইলাম না,
No doubt. Ooh, narrow.
ডাউন বার করতে পারে নাই।
Ben said, hello, Mag 7 is here. Nolan, the sliver of health left. GOW taking the fight up straight to them. First elimination, not enough just yet. Hans looking for one. Running around with the Bison. Nolan from outside, trying to find a couple of connections.
Bah.
He's going to be denied. LBT on the roof. And at this point, P Esports is just trying to avoid GOW at all costs. All thanks to the flame zone. Maybe they get a chance to run away, or maybe they get hit down.
Hell, it's though GOW saved
ওরা
a
লইলে
little
না।
bit, and with all that noise,
আরো danger
could
zone
have pulled
ফালাইছে, bad
in
luck.
E1 Sports, but unfortunate for them, or for Buriram United, he moved with the rest of E1.
এই যে আর এসে
thus being
কুট্টুস,
eliminated
ব্লেড দুইটাই
early.
down,
So the first
heaven
team
এর
to be
হাতে।
taken out is Buriram United. Now let's see who will be winning the next battle. PE Sports with only 2 players on our view, and let's see if they can bring
Chaita.
back the rest of the teams. Another team that needs recovery would be Red Hawks. Only one remaining flicker, but if the pickup can be
Oh,
done,
no.
then that would be the best for them.
Don't you do this to me, Red Hawks. Come on.
Ooh.
Oh, they're going
Flicker
to get out
শেষ।
of here, Alan. Gets the
একা
connection
বাচ্চা
with the
রয়েছে
AT,
ভাই,
Flicker
মরিস না
flickers
এখন,
out.
শেষ।
Nejad could not play the game of revival. They were just standing over the vending machine, but could not get close enough to it. And Red Hawks
ব্যাড লাক।
will crash and burn
প্যারা নাই।
again, unfortunately.
আরো
Lot
একটা
more
ম্যাচ আছে,
experience
আরো ই
needed
ম্যাচ
with
আছে,
the Red Hawks.
আরো 6টা ম্যাচ 7টা ম্যাচ আছে।
And, well, let's see if that will happen onto the next game. For Nick, though, he will need to be silent. He has view
এখন তো
and
7টা ম্যাচ
information
না,
on
আরো
WAG,
ডে
but
3 তে
rest of
মনে হয়।
teams is still a little bit too far. Portal Go
Day 3 তে 6টা ম্যাচ।
available, not only one but two of them, and it's a rare occasion that we are
Zone is
seeing that
shrinking.
a little bit of a heavy investment coming from the team. But going into the other side, we have two teams from the west right now going in for the
আরে
fight.
ফ্লুক্সোর
Woodspin
সামনে R7
almost swatting one out and taking them down.
Oh, Pow sends one straight to Bobs. Down on the ground, picked right back up. Joker went in for the
R7 এর
finisher,
তিনটা
but couldn't get
উপরে
to him in the nick of time. And now Bobs
Looks
ambushes
like a
it
bag of
quickly,
course.
rotating around. Very smart recovery coming through from the Fluxo players. And they don't put themselves in trouble as they do, kind of gearing up for a backup as well, as they stood around that house, close to the windows, waiting for a all-out battle. But thankfully, nothing happens, and R7 allows them to move away. Falcons rotating right behind WAG. This is going to get a little nasty shortly as Team Solid watches this situation.
Yeah, well, it would be another team to watch out for, which because Team Falcons is already in their midst, a little bit of FGL action being thrown into Nyx right now, coming from Keroro. And, well, this is what we often see in Zipway. The towers right here is a good vantage point, but unfortunately for them, the blue will be pulling away from them. So Launchpad will be used. They just reposition one tower,
nice.
and they still have that high ground.
Falcon ভালো পজিশন ধরছে।
Hopefully Limit X7 will be able to go for a takedown. Otherwise, they might be in the crosshairs of a lot of teams, especially with elevation that they have right now with their heads exposed.
Yeah, Team Solid now dropping down to the lower ground, taking the fight straight up to WAG. Now they have to be really careful because Falcons are in shooting distance here. One wrong move, Falcons will not think twice to hop on into the battle as the third party.
Oh.
GOW though, up against PE Sports, a little civil war between the Vietnamese squads. As GOW wins out the initial bout, but AG Global from afar, Team SR taking aim
পি
at them.
শেষ
Sneaking away a
বিআরইউ
point here
শেষ
as well.
দেখছো
GOW
বালা বালা
outside
টিম
the
দি গত
zone,
ম্যাচে
needs to play some sort
যারা
of
টপ হয়েছিল এরা
recovery.
শেষ
And those revives are crucial here. But it looks like AG
Heaven
gonna
na
make this
koi udse.
really tough for them.
Yeah, there's no breathing space for GOW right now because AG Global has them on their crosshairs. And it's a good focus right now for AG Global. They are top eliminators
WG.
in this lobby, and they're not really focusing on what's happening in Zipway. But Team Solid getting headway against the rest of the teams like WAG and Team Falcons, and they might be going in for the game.
Falcon এর লগে লেগে গেছে।
Let's not take R7 away from the picture because they are the ones waiting for the opportunity for the takedown as well. Team Falcon still alive, Guerrero on the ground, and will be taken out by T. Kui on fire in a 1v2. Will he survive? It would be tough. It's a 1v3, and on fire will be down.
But that was
Falcon এর একটা
some
member বাকি।
fantastic, fancy footwork out of On Fire in combination with the time turner. Unfortunate that he was outnumbered.
Oh,
And in fact, the third player was the difference maker there. Limit with a massive triple revival. And we were talking about how he rocks that Susie as the sniper of the squad, connecting those extra coins. And now Pina does get taken out from the skies. On Fire as well. Those revivals in a lobby like this, in a circle this small, is just absolutely deadly. Falcons are being shot out of the air.
oh, let's see now if Falcons
আরে
will
জি
fly. Only one
অনেক ভালো
team or
খেলতেছে
one player remaining at this point. Judo is struggling to survive, healing up, and Kororo is on his way, but did have a full HP right now. For Team Solid,
Yeah.
they are dealing with Team Luxo, and both of these teams not out just yet. TS might be able to survive, putting in the Steffi, and they are just being taken by that zone. The HP would be crucial, and BSB will be down.
Yeah, man. I mean, unfortunate. Bob's. Oh, goodness me. Usually you should fish in a barrel as they're inside the compound. This one was the opposite. They were in the compound, shot out through the window, finding those connections. And Fluxo is the winner of that battle. Going into this next circle, full squad. In fact, final circle time. Zone is about to move in favor of the Vietnamese squad. But look at the problem here. Vietnam is on all the way this high ground. And their only opportunity to reposition will be that monster truck. so as to not take any damage.
See though, A1 Sport, at least they are protected by this huge compound, but they will be in the target of Team Fluxo as they reposition, and heavy right now. Well, they're not too heavy because of the monster truck saving their way, but let's see if they can survive the onslaught coming from the other side of the map.
Yep, and now E1.
আরে ভাই E1 Sports এই ম্যাচ বুঝালো লেবো এই ম্যাচ বুঝালো লেবো মন দাই কইতাছে ওকে পজিশন ভালো জোন হয়ে গেছে
Hail is used as they rotate around.
Flux আর হবে না লাগছে
And this is out of the pan straight into the fire for the Vietnamese squad of Heavy. Alan takes the initial shots first, but manages to return fire. 2 Butches in, who backs away. Circle's now going to put pressure on them. The glue UAV thrown out here by Team Heavy, but Fluxo's not even going to be shooting at their defense. Heavy needs to focus on staying alive, and this is going to give them the advantage.
Fluxo,
Spots, and Heavy at the back.
Let's see. We have E1 Sports already very close to Team Flux. So if they can deal with each other, that would open up the floodgates for Heavy. But it seems like Heavy has shown up a little bit too early right now. Lion would be going in. Both of them pulling out a time turner and saving both of the squad.
And E1 once again distracted by Fluxo. Pulls the distraction, pulls the attention, and E1 Sports takes the high ground, allowing Heavy to recover, allowing Heavy to find a better position, and now E1 Sports will have to jump off of this platform, and that might just give the advantage to the Eastern squad. Team Heavy, they've got the jump pad, they quickly reposition, but E1, can they make the best use of their high ground here as Heavy, like trolls under a bridge, refuse to move?
This reminds me of one of the final battle in Southeast Asia, where Onyx Olympus was just at the bottom of the global. E1 Sports is on the top. If there will be a closing of the circle, all they have to do is wait, unless Heavy have something on their sleeves right now to throw off A1 Sports away or like below them, and they will just be an easy target. But there's also a way up right now if in case Heavy chooses to do so, and makes the mistake. Alan, take advantage.
Mufasa very quickly laying down trip mine here. Glue wall melters laid out around Witten to make sure nobody else drops in for the save. Witten about to expire. The rest of the E1 Sports players not taking any moves towards saving him. Alan gets to confirm that elimination. Circle's going to be closing in, and E1 Sports just put themselves into hot soup by taking the position on that high ground. Circle's going to be pressuring them to move on off, and on that drop, that will give Heavy a massive advantage. Medkits used by E1 Sports, but it's a matter of time before they hop on off of this bridge.
Yeah, E1 Sports, wrong position to take. They don't have the center, and Heavy would be taking advantage of this unless they think Cook would be taken by Heavy. To save them. And this is it. Heavy. GG. Heavy. GG indeed. Having the Booyah in there where E1 cannot do anything at all.
Yeah, bye Vitin. Team Heavy says, and Heavy is doing this for the number 1 spot, and the East is doing this from overtaking the West in the number of Booyahs they have. Heavy carrying the East ahead.
And there's a reason as well why Heavy is on our crosshairs of being a team that can turn things around. Heavy for a Booyah. You did mention that East has most of the Booyah already after 5 matches. Let's see though if the West can take it back, because it was very close for E1. If they have taken that, then it would have been the West leading the fray in terms of Booyah.
And this is what I respect about Vietnam. It's not about just getting into the international stage the first time and then dominating, because that's so difficult. And this nation
first time dominating
fire, and this is their year. For the first time ever, they squeeze in 4 teams to the global finals, and it's not about just a game of numbers. Just because you've got 4 squads from your region doesn't mean you're going to be able to do well. You can still all be bottom feeders. As a matter of fact, 60% of the squads during the interviews on our media day thought that Vietnam was going to be bottom feeders. Well, Heavy doesn't think so.
Heavy is really flipping the script against those teams or all those players. We're expecting them to bomb out. But, well, Heavy right now, quick decision. At least Heavy stayed in there with better cover. E1 scored. I was expecting them to move down a little bit faster, but minute 9 was just without backup. He is just leading in there with stairs available. If he had a little bit of, say, the full squad or backup or any glue walls to cover, he could have not been taken.
One made that mistake because, you know, this is not Kalahari. You can't just get off of that top spot. You maybe could have used a monster truck, but in a just, you know, 2 squads in the final circle, even a monster truck can put you in a little bit of a pickle as you take that drop. But you know, some magic could have still happened with a monster truck from the bridge, taking the landing. A quick glue wall or a time turner could have saved the day. Clearly, E1 did either had no resources to play with, or they just did not have that strategy in their backpack to pull out when it was truly needed. They almost made the right decision. They got off of the bridge, and then they got distracted by Fluxo. They still had one more survivor. And in order to win this one battle against this one survivor, I think it was Butches in at the top, they sent all 3 players back up onto the top of the bridge. And that was the moment when they lost it to Heavy, right? And obviously Heavy very happy to pull that Booyah away and finally bringing the East to the front. 24 points, 12 out of eliminations, 12 out of placements. Heavy manages to score decently well. AG Global will still be able to put up a good fight to make it number 1 spot. And remember, there were 2 points difference between Fluxo as well as E1, but E1 was the exact same number of points of AG Global, so they would have officially overtaken them through this
Red Hawks
E1 would be taking that number 1 spot, and in spite of Heavy grabbing Booyah right here, it's just so much that you can do, especially if the top of the leaderboard is still on the top of the game. It's still a long journey for the team, and it's only 1 map remaining. So Heavy needs to be consistent at this point. They need to take that Solara with a decent amount of points, if not a Booyah, to be able to take that number 1 spot by the end of the day. But again, we're still in knockout stage. Number 1 would be a great great trophy to take in the beginning of knockout stage, but everyone is just targeting to survive up until the 12th spot by the end of knockout stage to get in the grand final. So not so much of pressure for those on top.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, towards the bottom, you've got Red Hawk still struggling. PE Sports not doing too well this time around. Falcons, Buriram WAG crashing out. Movistar R7 at least getting 10 points. But Heavy, did they get to the number 1 spot? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with a 1-point lead over E1 Sports. Can you believe it? Not just the fact that Heavy is on the number 1 spot, but it is representing.
অনেকক্ষণ আগে উদয় 3 মিনিট আগে এই গালি দিলাম না
E1 Sports Fluxo would need to just like move a little bit, move their hips a little bit, they would be on the top 3. Now, Heavy though, I mean, great move from them. Because coming from that Booyah, decent amount, and it's not even the highest game that we've seen from this day, but they still managed to put that in. Now, they're playing with the meta right now. They have Nero in play, and there's so many instances wherein that could have been this. And that's
MVP, Elhan,
imagine teams in the corner, hiding out away from you. You pull out that, you pull out the skill from Nero, and everyone will receive damage. Even couldn't pull up any glue wall, and it's just a shooting gallery for Heavy.
Yeah, and even if Heavy was on the bridge, getting the drop down to the bottom would have still been a very safe play for Heavy because of Mufasa's chrono, right? And this is the kind of lineup you definitely want to have on your side, the kind of backup in a sticky situation.
Sure
not just about the aggression,
but
they most definitely.
But well, continue on. Team Heavy grabbing that Booyah,
Team
taking the
Heavy.
#1 spot is just phenomenal for the team. Now, I want to see more of what
Uttarai.
team can do, but Heavy right now,
Uttarai
especially
koi?
with Allen, is part of the mix would be deadly. Though Cabby don't
Ni
cry
Jomunate.
and Mufasa would bring in so much more into this
Ta
engagement.
Uttarai koi ar
Now,
Jomuna
I'd
koi?
love seeing more of what Heavy can do on how well can they maintain this, because we've seen so much of
Uttarai koi ar
curves
Jomuna koi? Jomuna
coming
bose
in
bahut sundar aile arte.
from Vietnam, and if they stop or like prevent that curse
Ate
from
kon
happening,
road er kotha
especially
koyta
against
setar upor
Mara,
depend kore.
they can still
গাজীপুর
maintain that
আইলে
number one spot, but at the end of the day,
গাজীপুরের
Yeah,
গাজীপুরের দিক
absolutely,
থেকে
man.
আইলে উত্তরা পার হওয়ার পরে
3,267
যমুনা তাও
on the damage.
এয়ারপোর্টের পরে
Man was just going all out on the limb there to grab those points for the squad, and you can see that
right?
through
So right
the
now,
knockout
well,
and the assist
know for
as
a fact
well.
that Allen would be
যমুনা হইছে
at
বসুন্ধরা সিটি এলাকাতে।
MVP, 6 elimination, 6 knockdown, 3,000
last
on
match.
damage. I want to see what weapon he has brought in. AC80 is in play. Not only that, we have the Coda on him, plus a Maro and a Luna. And not everyone has
Bal.
been using that Luna into the game.
PC
It's most
গুলা-
of the time, Luna
PC গুলা
has been
ভালো করে
used
নাই।
in Clash Squad,
Windows-
but this is where that would
PC
be
ভালো বলতে
very
কি Windows এর
useful.
problem?
If you need a little bit of increase for you, then you
ব্লু
will
স্ট্যাক
be
আরে
able
এমএসআই
to,
রান খায় না অনেক
bring
পিসিতে
yourself back
আমি যেটা
up.
লয়ে
But
ঝগড়া
yeah,
গিয়েছিলাম
hopefully
ম্যানেজমেন্টের
this
লগে
continues on for Allen and the rest of Heavy, AJ.
Yeah, no doubt at all, man. And one of the players
না, না,
who
setting
actually
টা matter
brings
না।
the Luna into
Default
play as
দেখলে
well.
আমার প্যারা নাই,
It's
কিন্তু
quite
কথা
a
হইছে,
rare situation to see
আমার
Luna
পিসিতে
being
কিবোর্ডে কাম
locked
করতেছে
out
না,
there.
এমুলেটরের
But we do
ভিতরে এটা নাকি
understand
আমার
why
দোষ।
as well in a situation like this. And obviously
দিলা বলে মার।
playing the favorite on the
আমি দিলা বলে
corner,
মার।
this is absolutely standard out of Allen. And this is exactly what we need to continuously see out
যখন
of
আমি
this
চিল্লাচিল্লি শুরু
squad
করছি,
if
আমি
they
বালার
want
কাহিনী
to
শুনতে না আমার
dominate
লাগে।
on behalf of Vietnam.
বেশি কথা
That is
আগে মানে
definitely
না
one of
পরে
those
টিম
squads
ডিসকাস করে
that
আপনি
the other
করেন দি
teams
পারলে
are
করেন
assuming
খেলতাম না
will
বালে
be
টুর
the
কি ভালো
scary
হইবো?
ones, even though
শাওয়াল
Vietnam as
লেন
a
আমার
whole
ডাইরেক্ট
is
এমনি
a
হইছি
underdog in the competition, nephew.
না না পিসি
But of course, as the teams kind of navigated through the circle analysis, you can see the number of early engagements in that first circle and down towards the very
না,
end.
না, default
when
তোমার
it
মতো
was
করে তুমি
E1
key mapping করো,
up against
সমস্যা নাই।
Heavy managing to
কিন্তু
run
রেজিটা দিতে পারবে না।
away with the Booyah. But E1 Sport still keeping up the pressure. They are now just 1 point behind Team
ওই
Heavy. And this is the
script
closest
না, না,
that we
import
have
করে দিবে
seen
না।
the leaderboard on
ইয়ে
a
manually
particular
করতে হবে।
day. It's unbelievable.
কোনো স্ক্রিপ্ট অ্যাড করতে
Just
পারবে না
between the first to the
রিপিটেড
fourth
ইউজ করতে পারবে না
spot, there is a difference of 5 points. How close is that? Anybody would be able to grab it for themselves.
না, tweaks
between
দিছে change
Fluxo,
করতে।
AG Global, E1 Sports, as
টুইক্স
well as
দিছে
Heavy.
হ্যাঁ
And I
টুইক্স
do
দিছে
count them
কিন্তু
out.
আমরা
I do count
আমরা
them
ডিফল্ট
in, but
টুইক্সে
you
খেলি
also have teams like Team Solid and R7 who could still jump into the #1 spot, Neptune, if they get a
আমরা ডিফল্ট
massive
টুইক্সে খেলি আমগো প্যারা হয় নাই
But of course, it is a interesting situation here for the teams down at the bottom. PE Sports WAG, I can understand.
আমার
the
ম্যাচ
struggle that
রিম্যাচ
PE
দিছে
and WAG
আমি যে
has had
পিসিতে
when it
বইছি
comes to
ফার্স্ট
the
ওই পিসিতে কিবোর্ডে কাজ করে না
consistency.
ম্যানেজমেন্টের লগে ওই টাইমে লাগছি
Has always
ঝগড়া
been there,
পর
even in the
রিম্যাচ দিছে 4
Southeast
রাউন্ডের
lobby.
পর
But
আরেক
to
পিসিতে
have
বইছে এই পিসিতে
Buriram
এমএসআই
join
নামাইছে
them
এমএসআই
at
ব্ল্যাক
the
স্ক্রিন
bottom,
এমএসআই কাজ করে না
this is a
নামাইছে
shocker.
ব্লু স্ট্যাক
I did not
এফপিএস
expect
30
it. I expected the fight for Buriram to be a tough
বাল
one.
গেম খেলবো
I
আমি
expected them to be challenged. I did not expect Buriram to be in the bottom 4 by the end of
না,
game number 5.
এটা
Now,
হচ্ছে
I don't
ওই
know how long
ওখানকার
is it gonna
পিসি
take
গুলো
for
একটা
them
সার্ভারের
to
লগে
really
কানেক্টেড করা ওদের
jump
সার্ভারের
back in
উইন্ডোজ
here
দেওয়া
and conquer
মানে
the day.
উইন্ডোজটার অনেক
But they need
কাস্টমাইজ
to
করা
dig deep and find
ডিফল্ট
out
উইন্ডোজ দিলে
somehow,
খেলা যেত
or else it's just going to be warning bells for all of the Buriram fans out there. But this is that battle which was just so delightful to watch, and this is that mistake as they went back up to the bridge to catch Butches in. That was the point where they ended the run for them. They could have recovered maybe with a team effort to get off of that bridge, but Vitin made that approach towards the stairs first, got knocked down, and a great follow-up from the players
ভালো দিছে,
as well
কিন্তু
of Heavy,
Windows এ
throwing
problem
all
করে
of
লেছে।
those glue wall melters, making sure that if anybody hops down to pull the save onto him, they are going to get sprayed down as well.
Problem
And
একটাই,
that was
problem
what
একটাই
stopped
Windows
the players
টাই।
of E1 Sports saving their buddy Vitin, and at the end of it, Heavy securing
PC
a great
এটা
booyah
কারণ আছে
to claim
এটাই
the number
পিসির
one
উইন্ডোজে
spot
প্রবলেম
for themselves.
ওদেরকে
And
বলা হয়েছিল
effectively
ডিফল্ট উইন্ডোজ দিতে
pulling the East
ওরা আমি
to
আমাদের
the front
আমি তো
as
ম্যানেজমেন্ট না
opposed to
তাও
the
এখানে
West
গিয়ে
who
আমি প্রথম দিন
initially
আমি আর
started the
সাজি
day
দেখলা
with
সাজি
a
দেখলা ভাই একটু
double
আমার
booyah.
হেল্প করেন
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
পরে
make
রুম
sure
2 এর পিসিতে আমি
you have
ব্লুইস্টে
hit that
এমএসআই
like
এমএসআই নামায়
already
সব
on the
রেডি করে দিছি
broadcast. Wherever you're watching online,
কোনো ড্রাইভার ছিল না তুই
whatever,
জানোস
you know,
কোনো
platform
সিঙ্গেল
you are
ড্রাইভার
watching
ছিল না
on,
গ্রাফিক্স
share the
ড্রাইভারটা বন্ধ নাই
broadcast out as well, because this is the kind of free fire action
3070
nobody should
লাগানে
miss. I think both the East
একবার
and the
পিসি
West
রিস্টার্ট হইলে
have been having a great
একবার
day
পিসি
out there. Of
রিস্টার্ট
course, some
কথা শুন
teams might be
3070
struggling,
লাগানি
but
বাট
even
গ্রাফিক্স ড্রাইভার
then,
নাই
it's a learning
এনভিডিয়ার কোনো অ্যাপ
process.
নাই যাক
There's a
বাদ দিলাম
total of 24
তোর
games that
শোন
all teams
একবার পিসি
have
রিস্টার্ট
played,
দিলে
and that
সব
means
যাবোগা
you've got 24
একদম নতুন উইন্ডোজ দিলে যেরকম
chances.
থাকে
For the
কিছুই
teams
নাই
that
এরকম হয়ে
faltered
যায়
today, for the teams that are unfortunately at the bottom today, making that recovery is not a thing of impossibility.
Salora.
Once again, East
Last
managing
match.
to pull it back, in fact rip it back away from the West when it comes to the total booyah counts. Fluxo, Team
খেলা
Solid,
দেখ খেলা দেখ কামে দিব
definitely looking to climb up again alongside E1 Sports. And who would have
Screen share
thought
off.
that E1 Sports from Brazil, without a booyah, would still be doing better than Fluxo as well as Team Solid? For the time being, no booyah, no pro. But of course, they have to kind of keep things a little bit realistic as well. If E1 Sports cannot secure these booyahs, and if we get to the grand final,
NL
on that
গেছিল তো
champion rush condition being
এনএল
activated, I think it's
এনএল
going to be
ইয়েরা
a huge
গেছিল
problem.
সাজিদে এসিডে
Yeah, let's see now.
পরে
I mean,
মার্শেলে,
there's a lot of
পরে
things that
তৌসিফে,
they need to consider right
পরে
now. And
জেটসু।
otherwise, the problem would be happening. But a little bit of player
NRO
talk right
গেছিল।
now coming from Du on All Gamers' global chances this year. He is 100%
না, ফাইনালের দিন
confident
যাবো তো
that they
আমি।
will qualify for
ফাইনালের
grand
দিন
finals.
XT আর
And if
Elite
they
Force।
don't, he will end his career. There's a lot of risk right now on this statement coming from Du.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Dew, I'm so glad to see Dew back in the game. I'm so
না
glad
না
to
না
see AG Global
ওইটা
back in. And
at
it's
least
the perfect
ফাইনালের দিন
time.
ঠিক করা
Imagine
দরকার ও
finding
করে
the
দিবে at least যতটুকু
recovery
জানি
in terms of how you can find the synergy out there on the
আমি
battlefield
আমি
and
বুঝোস
have
না
things
গেঞ্জাম
go
লেগে
your
গেছি
way
গা এটা নাকি আমার
just
দোষ আমি
before the global
গালি বেড়ে
finals.
গেছি আমি
And
এটা
then
কারণ
you go on
স্ট্রিমে
to
আছে গালিটা
become
দিলাম
the
না
world champion.
1
I mean,
মিনিট
it's
27
a
সেকেন্ড পরে
Cinderella
ম্যাচ
story
স্টার্ট
that
1.5
I
মিনিট
think
পরে
Dew and squad definitely deserves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're hopefully they can push through and achieve
ভাই
what
এবারকার
they want to
ম্যাচগুলা
get
ভাই
right
ইন্টারেস্টিং
now.
গেছে
Again,
অনেক
it's just qualifying
কারণ
for
ভালো
grand
ভালো টিম
finals,
দি
so
মাইল
just
খেতেছে
reaching the top 12 and I just don't want to see Du out of the picture just yet because there's a lot of promise from AG Global. They haven't even achieved a champion just yet. Not only in the global
আমার
scene,
ওয়েবক্যামটা
but
হেও
also
গেছে
in local region in Southeast Asia. So hopefully this is a time that they have because showing
আমার ওয়েবক্যাম হেরা লইছে না ওই যে ফেস ক্যাম দেখানোর লাগা আমি দিয়েছিলাম আমারটা
it's still very good that they
চাইছিল
will be able
সাজিদে
to make it to grand finals.
Yeah, and let's not forget, right? Dew was also the MVP of the global finals in 2023, where he played with EXPS. You know, it wasn't the best run of all for Dew, but at least he was very aggressive there, and he was honored for his capability as a sniper. That's where we all fell in love with him and his long-range capabilities. But he's kind of been on a downward dip right after that. The recovery from Dew, I have to say, has been phenomenal. All thanks to the fact that they removed the responsibility of leading the squad in-game, giving it over to Barras. And I have to say, Barros has been doing a great job overall. He's done the team justice. But can they do justice once again on this map that has been pretty mean to quite a number of squads out there since the introduction?
animation দিছে এবার রে ভাই ফাড়া
I
লাগবে
mean, yes, it is mean, but some teams are taking advantage of how new it is. Well, it's fairly new. A lot of teams has already been familiar with this, but because of the dynamics of Solara, there's a lot of teams that's being thrown off.
ওইটা না আমি তো হেগো দেখো প্রত্যেকটা টিমে ফ্ল্যাগ লাগানি
Just taking advantage of some of the position and drop spot in this area. Delta Isle is one of the drop spot that is
অবজার্ভে না যারা ম্যাচে নামতে হেরাও দেখতে পারে
because of the number of loots that you can get as well as the opening that you have in either in the middle or on the northern part
লোকেশন
of
না
this
তো
map.
Yeah, absolutely.
ওই যে আকাশের উপরে যে ফ্ল্যাগটা দেখিস
A very
ওই যে
easy
ফ্ল্যাগটা
drop taken here by all the squads on Solara except for Heavy and Falcons. And if Heavy can do something
Are Falcon are
phenomenal
Heavy.
here by
First
removing
day.
Falcons from the
Dude,
equation,
best
it will
team.
be nice. But if
First
the
blood.
curse of the Booyah hits Heavy, it's going to be very unfortunate.
Falcon are Heavy.
Because they just managed to
Falcon
climb
are
up to
Heavy.
the number 1 spot. Just managed to get a
Are.
great Booyah for themselves. The first one that they claimed in the day.
Falcon মার খেয়ে দেবো
To ruin that.
Gabi right now, good position
Hey,
to take, good hiding spot as well, and don't cry on a flank. But hopefully, how they put them
Max
a
7.
little bit too thin against Team Falcons would not be downfall, because as you can see, Team Falcons is regrouping, stacking themselves against each other, and that's what they can use to throw off Heavy right now
Nice.
in this game.
Yeah, nicely done. Kororo still has the
বোকামি
mental to
হয়েছে।
work off of this.
Falcon বাইরে গেছে কেন এটা
Full
ডিসঅ্যাডভান্টেজ
health in a little bit.
ডাবল
Right, taking great advantage point with the P90 up on top. With the Vector though, Alan is on standby. It's a standoff
Really,
for
sir.
sure. Pina caught out and don't cry. Fishes one fish out. And the fish's name is Pina. Unfortunately,
একটা বাগবো।
your clutch guard
একটা বাগছে।
on the side of Falcons taken out of the equation. Now Heavy needs to be really careful on this rotation. Don't cry with
না,
the
একটা বাগছে।
P90. Great rate of fire.
ওই একটা
Damage is
বিটতে।
decent in the
রিয়া দিয়ে
early
দিব।
parts, in the early
রিয়া দিয়ে
phases
দিব।
of this game. Kabi meets one. And Kororo
Heavy একটা down।
drives it with the Winchester, turns it around by shutting
Falcon
down fire.
নাইস
Good position being taken by
দুজন মিলে push
Kororo,
করো।
and great weapon to spare. Double shot coming from the Winchester really can take that
আরে
shot
nice।
quickly, and Kabi couldn't survive. Woodpecker coming from on fire, and Team Falcons is just putting a number on Team Heavy. One managed to get away. Mufasa will try to follow. but
আরে।
will he survive? He does, and 3 of Team Heavy will be able to move away. The only question is, would be anyone in front of them taken down?
Nani on fire out in the open. Yes, Heavy is scrambled all around. Limit does manage to put Alan down onto the ground. Mufasa had the time turner on him, all thanks to the chrono.
রাইটে প্লেটারে
He
খেল করে নাই
survives a little bit
মাত্র খেল
longer.
করছে শেষ ওরে
Don't
নাইস
cry though, is going to cry. They're all gonna hope and pray Mufasa manages to save the squad. Final survivor.
না
looking for
শুই
a
ছিল
vending
ভালো
machine.
লাগে ভাবছিল
I
লই
don't
লইব
know how many coins he's got in his
Better নাই।
pockets, but On Fire is trying to make sure he's gonna get snuffed out before he buys his buddies back.
আরে
On
R7
the
কালো
other
গে লাগছে
hand, it is Red Hawks
আরে
right now,
Red Hawks,
seeing
হায়
Reds,
রে।
the damage that they
আর
are
আরে থার্ড
receiving
পার্টি
coming
ঢুকছে
from Movistar R7, but that's not the end of the story. GLW would be heading in and same spot as Red Hawks
আবার
are.
heaven
And it seems like trouble is just following the balance.
Tight
That
team.
team in Katushan Blade needs to move away, but Mufasa and the rest of the teams are already in here, and Mufasa
Heaven
might be taken
আরে
down
ব্লেড
this time.
নাইস হেভেন গাইড হেভেন গাইড
Picture.
Nice.
And the curse continues for the Vietnamese team.
The curse
ব্লেডে
of the
হেভেন বলে
Booyah
লাইছে
strikes the
হেভেনের লাস্ট প্লেয়ার ছিল
And Heavy will not be able to maintain that number
Are
1 spot,
Fluxo-
but valiant effort either way. A great play, a great performance by the Vietnamese squad.
গোবরা ব্যাক করছে
Heavy,
গোরা ব্যাক করছে
first of all,
R7
saves
একটু
the
পিছাইছে
East from
আরে
a total annihilation
আরে
of the West through the
ফ্যালকনের একটা
Booyah.
গেছে ফ্যালকনের একটা গেছে
At the
R7
very
করেছে
least, give them a 50-50 by
Joker
the end
lele
of
bare.
the day, because this is the final game. Even if the West pulls one back, we are all equal.
জোকারে লেবো এলা ডিডব্লিউ করে R7 আরে ভাই কোয়াড আইস করার ফাইল এই জায়গায়
to the east, which is a big concern.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, only AG and Heavy.
এনে
are
যদি
taking
Falcon ঢুকে
the
থার্ড পার্টি লইবো
top 6 spot.
আর
for
এন্ডা
the
যদি
East. But let's see
আরে
how
আরে
this
কে
something
গেছে
that could
আরে কে গেছে
change.
কানতে
But unfortunately, Heavy is already out of the picture. Rip right now will be ripped
ওরে
apart
R7
by King
ওরে
King, and the follow through will not
এই পোলাই কি
happen.
করছে
But it seems like GOW can still survive. 2 elimination already, plus revive.
লয়ে
coming
লইছিল পুরাই
from the rest of the squad, but Hans will be taken out. R7
ভাই
will take care of
R7
it.
নাইস
Yeah, the revenge is pretty instantaneously. And Movistar R7 looking for a recovery play, looking for the number 1 spot. It's
ভাই
gonna be
R7 প্রথম
fairly
3টা ম্যাচ অনেক খারাপ
impossible,
খেলছে
I would say, for
দুইটা ম্যাচ অনেক
Movistar
খারাপ খেলছে
R7
নাম
to
শেয়ার মরছে
reach up to that number 1
আরে
spot.
আরএইচকে
Unless,
আর
of course, they get
টেক ডাউন লেছে কারে
a massive booyah through this game. They were on 57 points before they started this matchup.
RSK
And
আবার
remember,
take down
Heavy
হলো কারে?
had 70. So even to catch
একটা
up with
এলিমিনেশন
them,
গান
it's
এলিমিনেশন
still-
পায় নাই ওটা কি
this is
পায় নাই
gonna be a big problem, but to collect more points as opposed to the rest of the squad.
ওরে
is gonna be a great
ফ্যালকন
challenge
ওরে
against King, though.
R7
I think
মেরে খেলো
that we don't even need to
Falcon
do
রাতে।
that by the end of this game,
Third
because
party রাতে মেরে
Falcons
খেলো।
are looking to snuff them out right here, right now.
Only 2 remaining for Rainbow 7. And, well, good position
Ches,
by Logitech
Joker ches.
to make sure that no one else, even those from Revive, can survive.
Falconer ekjon
And
baki, Falconer
eight
ekjon
elimination
baki.
already being taken by Team Falcons, but they are tanking
RSK
the
বেঁচে আছে,
blue
RSK বেঁচে আছে,
right
RSK
now.
full team বেঁচে আছে,
Or
ওরা অন্য জায়গায়।
Esports
AG,
59 will be
AG,
taken out.
AG,
Or
ওই
59
RSK
rather will be taken out. 59 will be on the other side.
ভাই AG র লগে RSK এর fight নাকি?
Who spotted them? It was
হ্যাঁ,
two who
AG
spotted
versus
them
E1.
first.
AG আর
It's
E1.
out in the open and two. VSK
আরে।
dealing with them, taking 3
E1
eliminations,
there is
2
it.
of which coming from the sniper.
Yeah, monkey see, monkey do, and this time he is not taking any bit of instructions from anybody else. He is leading them
না না
with
না
the
হ্যাঁ
action.
ফ্যালকন 8টা কিল বের করছে মনে হয় 8টা এলিমিনেশন বের করছে
AG Global definitely in a punching position for the
হ্যাঁ
number
8টা
one
এলিমিনেশন বের করছে
spot.
AG 3টা
Having 67
গো
points
2টা
on them.
E1 একটা RSK একটা
They just need 3
WG
points
একটা
to overtake Heavy
বেরু
on the
0
number one
R7
spot.
6
And that's
Kunda.
exactly what they've had through the
Kunda.
elimination so far. But they still have to stay alive and kicking all the way to the final circle, if at all possible. Rip away a booyah for themselves as well. The first
wait
one of the day, they do manage to do that because
ফ্লিকার কো সামনে E1 E1 এর
Fluxo,
দুইটা
Team Solid
ওরাও দুইটা
are
ওরাও
way
দুইটা
too close to the number one spot
না,
as
ওরা
well, and
তিনটা।
obviously the Brazilians want it for themselves.
E1
Oh yeah, I mean they want to show up right now. Show up that Brazil
মারি খাই যাবো।
would be number 1 beginning knockout stage. But let's see though. Team Fluxo, 0 elimination, staying on the edge of the zone. The usual tactic from Fluxo. So I love this approach. Not too aggressive, but we know that they
Fluxo রা
can bring
aggressive
the
দেখাইতেছে
aggression
না।
if needed.
আরে,
They
launch
need
pad
to
দা বাকছে।
rush this. But speaking of rush, E1 Sports rushing into Red Hawks, caught off guard and forced to fly away.
11টা team,
This
44টা
is
player।
on hacks right now from R7, but Red Hawks is moving in onto E1. And
RHK
quite
Blade আর
surprising. I mean,
কুট্টু
the
শেখ লগে।
impression is still not being lost onto Red Hawks. Not quite sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
নেজাত,
Despite of the
flicker পিছনে আছে।
failure, they're still
লয়ে লেবো, মন
using the
রাখ কয়
game,
লয়ে
the
লেবো।
same
না, লইতে পারবো না,
gameplay,
গেছে
the
গা।
same energy from game number 1.
গেছে গা
Don't you dare doubt my favorite team.
গেছে গা ব্যাক আপ করছে
I'm not doubting. I'm just putting in a question out
ফ্লুক্সো
there for them to
ফ্লুক্সো আর
answer.
WRG
I like the aggression.
WG.
Please be careful, Red Hawks, all right?
ফ্লুক্সো লয়ে লেবো
FPL shot, which is in,
ফ্লুক্সো লয়ে লেবো
wanting to find the connection onto WAG.
এ হ্যাঁ ডেঞ্জার জোনে ধরা খাই দিছে
Fantastic at
Whoop rock.
কি রে ভাই
zone. Out they go. Jump pad used. X-Ball, the final one to get a heck out of there.
শেষ ফ্লুক্সোর একটা ডাউন
Oh!
Drop down as AG Global spots out Fluxo from afar. And it looks
Hila
like
boy, sir.
trouble is not over, although the flame zone moves
আর
away.
আজকের তিনটা এলিমিনেশন
Flame Zone
ও মাই গড কোনটা
has put in, dealt a lot of damage onto WAG.
Flicker.
Good thing that they
Flicker.
managed to jump out of that area. Now, P-Sports right
টিএস
now,
পিছন দা
they
পি
have been
যদি
casted
আরএইচকে
over
ম্যাচে
outside of
থার্ড
having
পার্টি
someone next to them. And this is
থার্ড
not
পার্টি
the
লইতে
first time
পারবো
that it happened. But
Third party লইতে
in
পারবো
most instances than not, the moment the team pushes against them, that's where they fall.
ভাই
But
আরএইচকে যদি এই
as
ম্যাচটা
we
বুইয়া
look
নে
at the
ভাই
elimination leader, it's
বুইয়া না
Team
টপ 2 বা
Falcons,
টপ
as
3 ভিতরে থাকলে
well
এনাফ
as overall elimination leader per player is Saifa from A.
না, বাংলাদেশে আরো ম্যাচ আছে তো আরো।
I mean, the
ম্যাচ আছে।
rusher, the frontliner of
ডে
that
3 আছে না
team,
ডে
the
3
game
আছে না
changer of the entire squad is still leading the fray.
So the battle between the East and the West, as far as eliminations are concerned,
আমি
is
ধরে কই,
currently being
group
won
তিনটা না?
by the East, at least
গ্রুপ
from the
3টা
count
না
of the
এখন তো
players
এবি খেলা
themselves.
হইতাছে
But we'll have to wait
পরে
and
হইবো
see
এসি,
all the way down to the very
চান্স
end.
আছে।
Falcons picking up 10 points
কিন্তু
already is
প্রথম
very
দিকটা যদি
impressive,
একটু
I have
মিড
to
রেঞ্জে
say.
থাকে পরের ম্যাচে
They're definitely gunning for
চাপ
the
কম
number one
পড়বো
spot. If they do, of course, I'll smile a little bit because that was my
আলারা কি হোল্ডে আছে রে
prediction. Yeah, exactly. Both of us. As long as they don't put
Character
Buriram
মারছে,
on me, I have
নতুন
no
ক্যারেক্টারটা।
idea what has happened to Buriram today. They are just not looking the best version of themselves at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, the target is top 12. If
ভাই
they can
ফ্যালকনের 10টা এলিমিনেশন
probably not get
মাইরা
the
লাইছে।
top spot at this game, hopefully
E1
get
শেষ, heaven
knowledge
শেষ।
or wisdom out of the gameplay that they've done so far. Like more information that is being provided not only in the usual
RHK
team that
এর
we
সামনে
have.
WG,
Remember the game analysis,
রাইটে
the circle
AG,
analysis that we have.
সরি লেফটে এজি রাইটে ফ্যালকন
Everyone
ফ্যালকনের পিছনে
needs to
R7
watch, need to review
Falcon
for
একটা
the
ধরা খাইবো।
following days, and hopefully those on
যদি
Group
R7 পুশ
A,
করে তাহলে ফ্যালকন ধরা
has
খাইবো
their eyes peeled not only in these games but also on those segments in between.
Absolutely. And
না না এটা তো অন্য টিম
10 minutes in, 10 teams still alive.
এই যে ফ্যালকন
Every single
ফ্লুক্সো
squad is
প্রেসার
full.
বিআরইউর
I'm not full. I'm actually a little hungry at this point of time.
Bro, we're in the past right now. Don't think hunger.
sorry. So if you guys didn't know, Neptune has been fasting for 2 days, which is quite a miracle for this uncle.
নতুন গানটা ভালো চলে বেটা
I
আর
just
7
finished my
কইছি না
fasting for 2 days the other
কইছি
day.
না
I wanted to go
ফ্যালকনের
for 3
লগে
days,
খাইনি
but someone
আরে
kept
এই যে
me
বোকামি
food. That was
শেষ
unfortunate, and
শেষ,
as I
দুইটা
speak of
শেষ।
being tempted, Falcons are tempted
Falcon
by
শেষ।
Movistar R7, and they do not think twice.
একটা
They
শেষ
have
একটা
a
শেষ
piece.
এটা হিল পাইছে
They pull 1 point off first, but they want to make sure they finish this all-you-can-eat buffet of Movistar R7 Games King. Circling
Hilya
down
dice?
from the bottom, spotting out Karoro, but the timing is perfect. As Della gets
Aye,
caught out.
Della,
Time turner is not working out.
Della,
Hands now,
Della.
running straight towards limit R7,
শেষ
and he will
R7
pay
শেষ।
for that in a big way. R7 just unable to snuff out limit, changing their mind at the very
একটা
last
বাচ্চা গেছে।
moment. Instead of taking
ওই
a
যেটা হিল দিছে।
2v1, they both get capped, and Movistar left with only one final survivor.
আরএসকে সামনে পিছনে ফ্যালকন শেষ আরএসকে মারা খাই যাবো
Recovery for Red Hawks right now. They need to deal with
Falcon গুলোকে
Team
পারবো না
Falcons.
তো।
Going into the side of the map, we have Rim United going against AG Global, and Moshi right now missing that shot. That timing was off. The rest of the teams are
Falcon
ready
গুলোকে পারবো না,
for the
Falcon টা
push.
form এ
Now,
আছে।
let's see if they will be able to end this in 10 seconds or less.
And the
There
AG
goes
are BRU,
Montana
AG.
for the rush, but unfortunately
R7 eliminated.
damage and needs back.
আরএসকে একটা ডাউন
And Buriram, no elimination.
RSK হিল পাইছে ফ্যালকনের দুটো ডাউন
wants to say, maybe you want some of a first, maybe.
না, না, এই তিন না, আরে ভাই, ফ্যালকনের খেলা দেখা পুচ্ছর।
Down onto the ground, but the pickup is not going to be impossible. Team SR there for the save and runs straight in. Manages to find Jonah, gets the connection, deal with the
ভাই
follow-up.
আরএসকে একটা ডাউন ফ্যালকনের
And
দুটো
the knockdown
আরে
is
হিল পাই গেছে
as well, and Fluxo finds Buriram.
ফ্লুক্সো
My
বুরিরামরে
goodness
সরাই দিছে
me. They get eliminated way too early, and AG Global will be smiling here.
AG ও শেষ।
Now they can worry
RSK
less
Blade,
about
Falcon
one
রে ফালাইছে।
squad, challenging them for that number 1 spot.
4 versus
On the
3,
rotation,
4 versus
AG
3,
Global
ভাই।
right beside Fluxo. This is dangerous.
Yeah, definitely dangerous, and they
By
sense
3v2
AG
situation.
near them, thus forcing one player to move away. It's Barros as well as
Hi,
takedown
Falcon
onto
যদি beat করে
another
আর RSK
from Fluxo. Now one has been left behind, and hopefully he keeps very silent. Though
Kill
we
feed
are
direct,
in the
kill feed
latter
direct.
part of this circle
And the
already,
Fluxo আর
where
WG
it would
and the
hurt this
WG বের করবো কারণ
HP,
WG
but
কাছে
if
পজিশন ভালো
squeeze away
আর
a
ওদের কাছে
recovery, a
zone,
revive,
Fluxoদের কাছে।
AG Global can
না,
still
ওদের কাছে
be
zone
in it,
নাই।
but unfortunately Team SR will be taken down with AC80
না, দেখাইতেছে না রে, scoreboard দেখাইতেছে না।
now is on their way to
Falcon
deal
and
with battles,
Neja
but
down,
Fluxo is
2v2
also in the same
situation.
area, so that
শেষ।
would be another
শেষ।
battle of
2v1
East versus West just
Falcon
in Archway.
Falcon eliminated
Fluxo now finding some connections. All thanks to W.
RHK at last at last কুট্টু শেষ আরে এজিরা ঠাট পাটি লইছে শেষ আরএচকে শেষ
In the 8th spot, although they survive up to the 14th minute mark, just have too many players in here, so even the placement points aren't going to be too great for Team Red Hawk.
না
But
ফ্যালকন
Fluxo,
বাইচা গেছে
right up
একটা রে
against WAG, up close and personal, but X-Bob, phenomenal
AG
blue
হাত
wall
পাটি লইছে
erected.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, glue wall still up, plus the glue UAV that fortifies those glue wall, and he's knocked
এটা
down.
Fluxo, এটা Fluxo
Unfortunately,
WAG.
Koi is already down, and WAG is left with only 2
এটা Fluxo
players
গো,
now.
এটা Brazilian team.
Fluxo is in the lead, and none of them is going down, and they might be able to take advantage of this area as well. So position on the high ground.
Fluxo's definitely looking for the number 1 spot, and it is most definitely reachable.
ভাই টিএস তো ভালো আছে ভালো কভার আছে
Looking to save themselves. They need to get this Booyah to make
Position ভালো তো।
as a whole the East wins this battle of Booyahs up against the West.
WAG eliminated
But clearly the West has got
Falcon এর
just
একটা player
enough
বেঁচে আছে।
numbers and power. Oh, what a riptide rhythm! And the glue wall UAV coming
Fluxo
out just in
শেষ,
time to
Fluxo
give
শেষ,
them- Oh,
Fluxo eliminated.
Sands and PE Sports from the
PE
East.
Sports,
It's not for
Fulco,
you,
ইয়েগো
Fluxo.
Fluxo
Out
কো
you
ফালাই দিছে
go.
Yeah, JLW dealing with the final blow with help of PE.
ভাই ফ্যালকনে ডমিনেটিং করছে ভালো ডমিনেটিং করছে 15টা এলিমিনেশন বের করছে ফ্যালকন শেষ একটা বেঁচেছে
They are dealing with Keroro right now, but Keroro
ভালো
can't
করছে
pull up the
Falcon।
clutch, but unfortunately Guaxa
Last number
up close
team।
and personal with an AWM will take him down. 3 teams remaining. It is 2 from the east, 1 from the west. Team Solid can be that solid team if they can deal with PE Sports first before
তিনটা টিমেরই
going
চারজন
in
বেঁচে রয়েছে
against the Wolves.
Oh, this is insane, man. I think Fluxo might have just been able to successfully secure that number one
Inda
spot
mere
for
full team
themselves
beche
because Team Solid was nowhere close to the number one spot, and neither is PE or GOW. This is just a battle of the underdogs now for the points, and obviously Team Solid wants the most out of this, and they run outside of the circle to take the jump pad, but gets met by a couple of grenades, and Deanne finding the connection with the AC-80. Great play by GOW to snuff out Team Solid.
Oh,
Team Solid chase. Team Solid chase.
Elimination and wiping out Team Solid. Now it's Battle of Vietnam right here. A knockdown has been done by Nero with that AC-80 onto
4 versus 4 situation. 3v4 situation.
Pulls out that Steffi. No glue wall to say or to be used on that glue UAV, but they still have 3 strong players on their mids, but unfortunately they have an overwatch for PE Sports that they need to watch out
PE
for.
Sports buya lobo mon
Absolutely, man. PE Sports has got the numbers here. It's all
Yes,
about the maneuvering,
PE
even down
Sports.
on the ground, and the flank is perfect from Nolan, finding
Well,
Hans
I'm not.
as well. PE capping the players of GOW, and in the battle of the Civil War, PE Sports secures their first booyah of the day, which is going to launch them up towards the mid part of the overall leaderboard. But as for the question of the battle between East and West, if it is concerning the booyahs, PE Sports just put the final nail on the coffin. East wins it out, but we still have to look at the overall leaderboard.
Team combination और position
how
ले
many
तरना.
teams do the West still keep in the top 6?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before that Solara map started, all
Team
of
Fluxo.
the 4 teams from the West
Team
is
AG
on
Global.
that board, on the top
Team PE
6. And that
Sports.
just showed the quality of those teams. Despite of the less quantity, they still bring in the numbers. It might not be that
और
consistent
दूधा बुया
of
ले
being
सेटाना.
number 1, but they just
पूरा 6
know how
मैच
to
है.
pick
दूधा बुया
themselves
बस.
up. But let's not take it away from PE Sports. LBT, Lauho, Nolan, Nero, as well as Jonah for that booyah in that final game in day number 1.
Yeah, this is such a solid day, I have to say. I mean, not talking about Team Solid, but it's such a great day because we got to see so many of these teams go out there, play some really great games of Free Fire, and every single map has had a unique booyah winner. And that is exactly why in the start of this global
Charge
finals,
Blaster.
on this number 1 day of the knockout stage itself, you've got so many of these teams stacked just beside each other on the overall leaderboard. I mean, they just need to reach their arm out and be able to touch the other squad, right? I mean, that's how close they are to each other because, and this is going to be a problem, all right? Champion rush condition activated for the grand finals. If it's going to be this close on that final day, Neptune, I'm going to have a headache, my friend.
Well, either headache or, I don't know, a happy spree.
It's either a headache or a heartache, okay? One of the two is going to ache.
but there's not more of a heartache that would be happening, not just for the casters. It's
As long
more
as
of
it's not
those
a
in the
stomach
comment
ache.
section. That would be hard. That's difficult to get away
আজকে
from.
মনে হয়
So
শেষ যতটুকু
imagine
জানি দেখি
trying to hold that
আজকে শেষ
in
day 1 শেষ
while you're casting. The emotions, rather. I'm not.
I'm talking about the players, my
তার
friend.
খেলা ডে 2 তে দেখতে হবে
That's the bad thing, all right?
Schedule নাই,
And
দেখতে
I
হবে।
am it just before the broadcast. Might just mess you up if you're not used to it, but oh, goodness me. If there's anything I miss about Indonesia, it's the chili, man. It's the spice. But of course, we have got a lot to expect out of the competition. This has just been day 1 of the knockout stage. Neptune, we've got 5 more days to go. In total, these teams will play 4 out of the 6 knockout stage. They will play 24 games in total. And as far as A and C are concerned, the first 6 have now come to a perfect conclusion. Let's take a look at the game standings and see how much did teams like Fluxo and all manage to walk away with this matchup. Obviously, PE Sports 21 points right at the top, but Falcons with 21. How is, my God, what a massive game for them.
Yeah, I mean, even before they head into Windmill, they had a lot of elimination already. They were just farming points. The rotation was just favoring them, wherein they can catch a lot of players off guard. Thus, even without getting into the very top, the top 3 to be exact, they will still take that second spot. But let's see, though, on what would be
Drum roll.
the result of the standings. Oh!
রেড হক্স
What?
সবার শেষে
AG Global still in there.
How?
AG
How is
Global,
this
Booyah
possible?
Nania.
No Booyah. No
Top one,
problem, at least for the knockout stage. AG Global saving the face of the whole of the East by 1 point, making sure Fluxo does not sneak that away from them.
Booyah
Unbelievable.
Nania.
And GOW
Elimination
giving
43
the East
আর
another
placement
boost
point.
by pushing Team Solid down to the 7th spot. I cannot believe we're looking at this. Movistar R7
টোটাল
pushed down to the
টোটাল
9th spot
টোটাল
as well.
6টা
Look at how
ম্যাচের
close.
টোটাল 6টা ম্যাচের
Look
পয়েন্ট
at
টেবিল
how close these points are, man. This is a crazy start to the global finals.
Well, it won't bother some of the teams.
But
jumping
Bangladesh
in onto
আর
next
HK ওরা
day,
সবার
but
লাস্টে।
before we proceed anywhere else,
Yeah.
take a
প্যারা
look
হয়ে
at team
যাবো।
stats from PE
প্যারা হয়ে
Sports.
যাবো,
It's
প্যারা
quite
হয়ে যাবো।
different from what we often see in terms of skills. We have A124, we have Steffi, we have that Oscar as well as Kyler, but what is best for this team is
না, না, দুইটা
how they
রাশার,
just
দুইটা
survive
রাশার,
the
একটা গ্রেনেডার,
survivability factor
আরেকটা
that they have. Again, a double
তোর
Livia,
স্নাইপার।
Tiva on Nolan, and not only that, they have a double Suzy. Just make sure that
দুইটা
if
রাশার,
in
একটা
case
গ্রেনেডার, ওই দেখ।
needed, they can bring
MVP
their
যেটা নিচে
teammates
দেখ
back.
গ্রেনেডের লোগো দেওয়া।
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I really like this. The combination of Olivia and Tiva is pretty much a instant pickup. You've got the Steffi on there as well. So I'm very sure Nolan, if possible, is going to be out in the hiding away from a lot of these engagements. But instead of that, even
700
though he's the
মধ্যে
spot
4টা
player, even
elimination,
though he's
1300 মধ্যে
tasked to
2টা
get those
elimination, দুইটা
those
knockdown,
saves,
4টা
he's getting the
knockdown, দুইটা
eliminations instead. But the damage, 3 out of the 4 players below 1k damage. This was the most concise booyah we've seen today.
কিল চোরদা ম্যাটার না,
I
টিম
mean,
টিম ওয়ার্ক কথা।
they're not too aggressive. In most instances that we see PE Sports, they're just hiding out of the
এখানে
compound.
teamwork is
And
the main.
The only difference this time around is they are aware of their surroundings compared to what we've seen earlier. Someone can sneak in and just clean house. Not this time. PE Sports managed to defend themselves and they stepped out in the perfect timing to take
ভাই
that
এখানে প্রবলেম কি
booyah.
শোন,
So,
বাংলাদেশে
love
ওইরকম
evolve
প্ল্যাটফর্ম
evolution
নাই যে
coming from
আরএইচকে
PE
রে
Sports.
বিট করব,
Hopefully
ঠিক আছে? আরএইচকে
continues,
রে
and
বিট
hopefully
করার
the
মতো
curse
টিম
is
নাই।
broken after the day. This is the last
এটা
game,
মানতে হইব।
and if the curse continues
কিন্তু
for
ব্রাজিলে
tomorrow, they will be playing for tomorrow.
ওরা
That
যেসব
would be
মানে
definitely not so good
যেসব
in terms
লবিতে
of
খেলে,
luck, but
এইসব
for
লবিতে যে
MVP,
আরএইচকে এক
it
মাস
would be
খেলে
Nero.
আরএইচকে
Not the
বহুত
skill,
ইমপ্রুভ
not the
হইব।
character, but the player from PE Sports.
It'll be sweeter if Nero played Nero, but
Oh yeah.
it's just not the way. Man gets the MVP, 1350 on the damage forces in total, rocking the A124, disabling opponents before he reaches them, tossing in those nades as well with the assistance of Alvaro and Beaston, marking up players, all thanks to that AC80 and the Moko combination, getting those extra coins after eliminating those marked players as well. Nero has the perfect combo, but PE Sports overall is just not the most aggressive team out there. But as we take a look at the circle analysis, this was
mobile team.
a pretty dragged out game. But at the beginning, we saw massive eliminations coming on through.
Yeah, I'm just watching out of PE Sports right now from TV Tower. They head to Fun Fair, use that slide rail, get into Archway, and then just stick to the center of the circle. And looking at that, Team Solid has spent so many time just on the next compound, on the second compound next to PE Sports. And if they were not pushed away into the next phase or on the shift of the circle, they could have taken PE Sports right there. The patience, though, from PE Sports, from the Vietnamese scene, is just pristine, and they ended up on the final 2 going against GOW.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's take a look at the highlights here as well to see if or not we can catch some of that action you just talked about in our updates here as well. Kind of looking at some of the key moments. And Falcons up against the R7 squad early on just did not fare well for the LATAM team. And obviously, as Fluxo kind of circled on around towards the final ending bits of this matchup, it didn't fare them well as they got caught out on that rotation. A couple of time turners could have made the biggest of difference. But, you know, as luck would have it, they got eliminated. They were looking for the #1 spot, and all they needed was 2 more eliminations to do that.
Yeah, well, definitely a few more could have helped them. But
Yeah.
going back, I mean, it's the end of the day right now. The final match is over. You did mention that it's a battle of the East and West. And
Yeah.
by the end of that Solara, it could have thrown off the scale.
Yeah.
But one thing that surprises me is it has pushed Team Solid and R7 down
Yeah.
below the top 6. And we're back on an even plane.
You say even, but I say the East has won the battle, at least for day one, when it's concerning East versus West. If we look at the number of booyahs, the East has won it. If you look at the number of teams in the upper half of the overall leaderboard, in the top 6, 4 out of the 6 teams belongs to the East. The East wins that out as well. We saw some highlights of the overall elimination leaders earlier on. The East wins that out as well. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm from the East, okay? I'm just, don't shoot the messenger, all right? I'm just letting you guys. It is the case.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of numbers, in terms of quantity, there's more chances from the East because of the numbers that they have. But if you calculate this and averaging the amount of teams from the East and the West taking the top and the bottom, that's why I said it's even. Because 2 has been still on the top, and 2 of which is the bottom from those in the West. And same story in your point where in 4 coming from the West or from the East is on the top of the leaderboard. So it's just a reset of that scenario. But I guess there will be a little bit more of a interaction later on. But let's see on the Best Predator. This might be the tipping scale of who's taking the East and West battle. So how many of this?
And third elimination.
3.
Top
All right. The West wins the Best Predator.
The West wins the Best Predator, and holy mama, MT7, I have to say, I am a big fan of his sniping capabilities. 18 eliminations, 11,000 on damage in total. 5 right there behind him, 17 for the guy. Pina, the clutch god of Falcons, managing to sneak in 15 eliminations. Games King with 13. Vitin equaling him with a 13 as well. Okay, so this is a great win for the West. As far as the Best Predators go, we have a little bit of a lean in onto the West as opposed to the East. Close, but not close enough. I'm very happy the West won this one.
There's a lot of factor right now when we talk about the East and West battle. And it's a good thing, and I thank everyone who thought about this because it's a good thing, and as well as the results, both sides are just giving their all, making sure that it's not favoring one side or one region dominantly. There's a lot of factor that shows that the East is favored, and then in the Best Predator, the West is favored. So I'm loving storyline right now, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. I mean, yes, we love the storyline, but what we love even more is how close this leaderboard is, right? These players, these teams are so close to each other. Down at the 9th spot, Movistar R7 has 61 points, and up at the top, AG Global only has 79 points. That's how close they are
আজকে
to
গ্রুপ
each
এ
other.
এবং সি এর ম্যাচ গেছে
And
কালকে মনে হয় গ্রুপ এ বি
love absolutely how close the competition is going to be for the rest of the days as well. And as for the team highlight, this is the best squad of the day. AG Global, 79 points, 43 eliminations, 25,578 on the total damage. But bro, no booyah.
No problem. I mean, I'm loving the story, like what AG Global has done at this point. I mean, they did quite well in terms of elimination. Yes, they might not be the top because Team Falcons just had 1 point ahead of them in terms of elimination. But it's the consistency they have of being in either in the middle or the top of the board. The survivability that they have at this point is just different. And I'm, again, from Southeast Asia Fall up until the global finals, I'm loving this side of AG Global.
Yeah, and who is the MVP of this squad? We definitely need to know, because not a single time did we see an MVP highlight from AG Global, because they did not secure a single booyah out there. But I'm very sure in each and every single match, there was that one key player that was doing a lot. As far as eliminations are concerned, Cypher definitely takes the cake. We just saw that highlight. Dew, with his sniping capabilities, was able to cripple many teams as they tried to shut down the rest of his team members. I think the rotations were really good. The split buddy play, the 2-2 combo split out of AG Global was just so delightful to watch, very entertaining. And what's surprising about this is not only was it entertaining, but it was extremely effective.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what AG Global is doing right now, the 2-2 combo, and then switching to the 3-1 if needed, if in case Ju would be in a better angle. And we know how it is, and a sniper like Ju, he is a veteran in that role. And this is what makes AG Global something to look forward to. But as you called it, the MVP of the day, 17 elimination, 8,345 on the damage. He is AG Global Cypher, and I'm not quite sure if that is right, but Wukong on active skill.
I couldn't hold myself back. We even have Kelly back in here, baby. Let's go. So, okay, this is Cypher just teasing us, right? But obviously, M590, monstrous plays, 8,345 on the damage in total. And he's not even the sniper of the squad, right? Just meeting people halfway, up close and personal with the shotgun. And he was just more than accurate, very effective in the CQC battles. And we've been waiting for the awakening of Dew and Cypher. We were expecting Cypher to give more backup to Dew, and he's doing more than just the backup providing this time around. He's really carrying the squad overall through those eliminations.
Yeah, well, we're going to have an interview right now. Let's bring it over to AG Global and our host for this interview.
Team of the day, AG and Booyah! Hello everyone, I'm Yusul and right next to me is AG. Today we have Cypher and Dew and our host Cochita as well. So let's have a little chit chat with them. Alright then, how do you guys feel that without any Booyah but still make it to the team of the day?
ตอนนี้รู้สึกยังไงบ้างคะที่เราไม่ได้บูย่าเลยแต่ว่าเรายังได้ Team of the Day
ก็ดีใจครับพยายามจะบูย่าแต่ว่ามันไม่ได้ครับท้ายวงมันไม่เป็นใจครับก็เลยเล่นประคองอันดับประมาณ 10-15 อะไรประมาณนี้ครับ
I feel very happy. Actually, we aimed for the booyah, but we didn't get it because of the circle just run away from us. So we try to play consistency and try to be top 5 at least.
I understand. So okay, for our second questions, so we just move into our new OB, which is the OB51. So for Dew, how do you think about this meta currently, especially for the red zone? Because I can see that so many people are being struggling with it. But do you enjoy it, or do you have any new tactics with it?
ตอนนี้เขาพูดถึงว่าเรากำลังแข่งใน OB 51 ซึ่งตอนนี้มันเพิ่ม red zone นั้นเข้ามาแล้วก็เห็นหลายทีมค่อนข้างจะแบบมีปัญหากับวงเนี้ยดิวรู้สึกยังไงกับวงนั้นบ้างสนุกไหมหรือว่าไม่ชอบเลย
ก็ชอบครับเพราะว่าเราเก็บไว้แล้วก็รอปล่อยตอนท้ายเกมครับ